There we go.
Hailing outside.
Welcome everybody to the CrossFire podcast, where the entire panel is trying to photo and audio bomb me at the same time. Guys, like, somebody just wrote in the chat right now. They're like, "Listen, it must be a New York Minute thing. Mooch is late as usual." We're on time as far as I'm concerned. Listen, guys, we got a great show tonight. There's been half of what we've been talking about right now has been our experiences and things that are going on right now with the Xbox One X and how we've been kind of handling it. It's not all pros, folks, so everybody calm down. We're going to go through a lot of highs and a couple of lows, and we'll figure it all out by the end of the 2 hours. But overall, it has been a huge success. It's been a lot of fun this week. So let me start with the one, the only, the man who could say speed and crash anybody's podcast. Crap Gamer, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Glad to be here. You know, it's I'm slowly becoming your apprentice at mooching. I'm very happy about that. You know, it's
Dude,
going
you still
good.
can't beat me, man. I'm
Dude,
sorry.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I woke up to someone game gifting me Wolfenstein 2.
Nice.
Yes, I mean, like,
That's
does it get any better than that, right? And just, I know we're gonna go to the, since we can kill some time anyway. But
Right.
Mooch, you're gonna like this. The guy, he goes by Trunks 305, right?
Right.
So I know you don't recognize the name.
No.
He was the guy that called in MNC Mornings one time. He was homeless at one point, and he would listen to the show.
Oh,
and it really, like,
nice.
kept
I remember him.
entertained and stuff.
I remember him.
And he was
Yeah.
like, man, this is like thanks to all the laughs and stuff from you guys. It was, you know, and believing
glad
in
he's
me
doing
and stuff
better.
like that. So yeah, that was really cool. Cool of him. Shout out to that guy. Like, just he did that, and that's phenomenal. And he's doing much better. He's like, I'm working all the time now. I hardly have time to game, but I always listen to your guys' podcasts and stuff. So I thought that was
a real
epic stuff.
motivational call in that we got from him.
It was.
That
It hit you right there, man.
It
And
did.
that's like why you do it, man. It's a
Allow me
good
to
thing.
sound like a millennial for a minute. Hit you in the feels. There you
It
go.
does.
Thank
It hits you right in the feels.
There you
And
go.
so yeah,
I met my
it's
quota
good.
for the year.
Oh, we got Alan Savage already kicking off stuff for you, bro. That's nice.
That's my boy, Alan. Yes,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah. So it's good to be here, man. I gotta be honest, dude. I've been gaming more now than I have maybe ever. Just like game after game, I'm like, let me hop on this, let me hop on that. Amazing. You know what I mean? It's like,
You know, a lot of people have been saying that to me. They're like, Mooch, are you going from
Yeah.
game to game, trying everything out? The thing is, I'm actually not. I'm kind of
I know.
finishing a game, and then I'm going to start it. I want to be like, because if I get amped about one game, then I'm not going to go back and play the other game. So, like, I want to kind of take them one at a time and have that excitement each time. Which, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
not critiquing you, crap. I think what you're doing, I don't
Yeah.
really blame you, and it's taking a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like constraint on my end to not go through them all.
part of the reason was this, right? Like, so Helen Amber and I shared the same internet, so I had to uninstall Call of Duty and reinstall it to get the update,
Right.
so it could be enhanced. And that was installing the same time Shadow of War, the same time a lot of these other games are installing. It took forever. So I had to play other stuff. So I was playing like Super Lucky Tale and Sonic Forces and Assassin's
Forces.
Creed. And, yeah, you know, so I've been playing a little bit of everything. Then when Call of Duty, of course, I finally got that updated today. I hopped on that and playing that campaign is, oh my gosh, that looks so good.
Yeah, Call
Like,
of
nobody-
Duty's got my attention for the next game I pop on.
Nobody can complain about the graphics in that. At least in the single player, they look phenomenal. Of course, the multiplayer always takes a hit, but the single player, whoo, and the frames are 60 solid.
Crap's
on
got
that, so-
Crossfire confused with MNC Mornings. Let me get to the rest of the panel here tonight.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
sorry.
I forget.
Hey, did you not tell me talk a lot tonight?
I did. Towards the middle of the show. So what we got here is my boy.
Hey, we got
Speaking
more
of doing
people here
well,
now,
we do. We're letting him filter in. My boy who's feeling a lot better. So glad to have him back home. Xbot 448. Welcome back,
What's
brother.
going on, people? Oh, sorry.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
What's going on, everybody?
Xbot.
I am officially running for President of the United States. Put in your vote now, guys. It is great to be back on Friday night Crossfire. As you can hear, my voice is getting back stronger than ever, and I can't wait to go in and talk about the X with you guys, man.
Nice, buddy. Nice. Can't wait to hear about your experiences. My next, Signore Bombastic. Boom. Welcome back, buddy. If you take up any more characters, you're going to be taking them away from us on Twitter. Welcome back, buddy. Good to have you here tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. X is out. We're all excited.
Yes.
I also have an awesome mooching story that I'd like to share.
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We're all giving
how-
our mooching stories.
Yes.
Our friends at G4G Media were nice enough to hook me up with deluxe edition of Castle Wolfenstein 2.
Wolfenstein
It's
2. Wow.
Yeah, Wolfenstein.
Everybody's getting Wolfenstein
Yes.
gifted. Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was real nice of them.
No, shout out to Avers and Moxie. Great people.
Yes,
Yeah.
wonderful people. They've, I just launched my channel last week, and
Double barrel.
Yeah, thanks, Crab, and that was really nice of you. That personal message that you sent me today really hit me in the feelers.
Yeah, man. No problem.
And that was really good. Coming from you, that's a big deal. I won't get into particulars, but it was something I'm always going to cherish. So thanks, dude.
People
really
are going to start
appreciate it.
thinking I'm soft and not a big asshole.
Yeah, right?
Crap, you are such a big asshole.
No, I
Exactly. Thank you. Xbox. Thank you.
Oh, that's so nice. We'll start with the click, boom for Boombastic next week. Boom, good to have you here. Let's go to our special guest here tonight. Just so you guys know, Clowns couldn't make it tonight. He may pop in later. You never know. We'll find out later. But
I'll
our next
fill in for
one,
Clowns. Hey,
Yes.
Crap Gamer ate my
My calzone.
my calzone. Sorry.
Thanks,
Now
Clowns.
let me mute my mic for an hour and a half because my dogs are barking.
So
Okay,
great.
Clowns, see ya.
That's so great. Let me get to our boy. He likes to go as the Don. I like to call him Triple D Don, the Dev. Don, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show, buddy. We're really going to be tapping into your expertise tonight.
Man, I really love that intro. It's almost good as Xbot. I would also take any pretty much crap gamers of video titles and just put them at the end of it.
They're always great.
That'll be acceptable too.
Yeah.
So,
Kaboom, Megaton, the Don. Wow.
The Don. No, Don, good to have you, buddy. We're really going to want to ask you, especially on a lot of these 4K updates. We're hearing about these patches. We'll get your 2 cents on it. And last but certainly not least, the lovely Blue, who's joining us here from Speak Podcast. Blue, welcome to the show tonight, and it's really, really great to have you on. It's been too long. I shouldn't have waited this long.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. And let's get it started. Let's do this.
To be honest with you, Blue, you're actually going to be one of the first people I kind of go to here. And the reason being is not to put you on the spot, but you probably have the best story of the whole panel. So I'll fill everyone in, Blue, and then you're going to take it away.
Okay.
Blue basically went down to the New York City live launch event. And if anyone's following her on Twitter, if you're not, you should be. She literally did a play-by-play of all the people. She hung out with Phil Spencer. She hung out with Aaron Greenberg. She hung out with one of the cast members of Stranger Things 2. I don't know if she hung out with them. She
11?
definitely saw. No, it was. I don't remember the guy's name in it though. Do you know what's his name in the show, Blue?
Uh-oh.
Do you know it?
No, I know his name is Caleb though. His real name.
Caleb. Yes, Caleb.
But-
Well,
Is it the kid with the curly hair who didn't have teeth in
No.
the first one?
no, he's funny though.
No,
When she goes, Mooch, you're not going to believe it.
Please, Lucas.
Lucas, thank you,
Yes.
thank you. And he's the one that's got the love interest in the redhead, who I also Max.
Max.
So it's really, really cool. But Blue, what made you decide to kind of be like, okay, I'm going to work, and then I'm going to leave, and then I'm going to go down there and stand in line?
Oh my God.
What happened? Like, how did
I
this
totally
happen?
forgot about that part, that I actually did go after a long ass day of
Yeah.
work. It was kind of insane. So basically I was kind of not sure about going just because it was a weekday, and they kind of it wasn't something that they promoted that much. I don't know if you guys realize that, but they kind of it was sort of something that we found one off, and then we were just telling people that we knew, and then they promoted it kind of closer to the date. I think I knew about maybe 3 weeks I would say before, or
That
2
sounds
weeks
about
before
right.
that I decided to go. And then I didn't really tell anyone about it except for people that live in the city already.
Right.
And so I just said, hey, this could be fun. Maybe we should try this. I told TiVo and Dave about it, and we all met up, and then we just went downtown. And what's funny is that, people started getting hype about it when someone mentioned that they were there first, and they were online 24 hours beforehand, which, by the way, it was totally unnecessary because that
I was here for
line
24
was
hours. Yeah,
dude,
well, we still
that,
got in.
that line was not that long. I don't know if it's because, I'm pretty sure it's because they didn't promote it as much as they should have, but I would say that there were maybe 300, 400 people, maybe around there.
That's a decent number, though, Blue, to be honest with you. Let's be honest. It's a mid-gen console.
I'm kind of pushing the number a little, but
even if I was actually shocked, I was going to say 150 from what I saw. So if you're saying over 150,
no, definitely more than 150 because my number was 151.
Okay, then that's what my point being.
Wait,
I think that's still a successful. It's still.
That's. I mean, it was enough because that store is not very big. Have you been?
I have not.
That store is pretty small. I mean, think about it. It's in a very lucrative area of the city, so they don't have a lot of space to begin with. They do have a lot of floors, which is pretty amazing. But they made it work. It was really awesome. They had it set up where when you got there, you get online, and they had a divider there for people, and the line was around the block. We're not talking the long block because the store is sort of close to the end of the block anyway. So, I'll give it to them that they had it around the block.
For Phil and Aaron to kind of come out and start to,
I was waiting. The crowd. Okay, so Aaron was kind of out. Phil did not come outside. Aaron was the one that was outside, being with the people and sort of talking to everyone and trying to ask questions.
Yes.
They were doing these little trivia questions.
Yeah.
Which was really cute because they were giving people who got the answers right a year of Game Pass.
That's cool.
Which is pretty awesome. And so Aaron came through and just tried to get people hype and he took this video of people and he had them make X signs with their arms. So that was pretty cute. He was super excited about that. And the people that we saw mostly outside were Major Nelson did come out and did an interview with someone. I don't know why they picked that guy, but something about he was there for the original Xbox, and I don't know. He was just interviewing him.
They did ask him some OG Xbox questions.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the only time he came outside. Mm-hmm. We were there for 7 hours.
That's huge.
That's a long time.
That's a long damn time.
It was outside. So it was freezing.
So did you order your X there, or did you leave the event and then go get your X somewhere else? That's what I thought.
I got my X from Amazon, so I had it shipped.
So it came on time?
It came today.
Mine no. Mine came on time because I called Amazon and I said, listen, I'm not playing games with you. You will be sending me my Xbox because if not, I will be canceling my order and never order anything from you again. And the lady was like, oh, okay, I'll help you. I'm sorry. You better. I was like, where Xbox is right now? And she was like, well, I can't tell you that. And I was like, send me your supervisor, please.
There you go. See,
and she did it.
And then the lady was like, we don't take any shit.
No. And the lady was like, your Xbox is in Philadelphia. And I was like, thank you. Have a nice day.
Exactly. No, and that's actually, Blue, I'm kind of glad you bring that up. That's one of the things I always say with the whole getting the gaming system and the gaming media and the gaming, get a couple branches over in New York. That's the difference between somebody over here in New York. It's not just the threat and you're not going to do business with them, because a lot of people say that. But the way she said, you know what? Let me do me a personal favor. You're wasting my time. Give me a manager. You're wasting my goddamn time.
Hey there, Mooch. I gotta say, I know you're talking about the city and everything, but I think it's a tri-state area.
It is. I do.
With GameStop, I got my midnight launch. I'm saying.
Yeah, I gotta give props to you and Mel. You guys called the executives and said, listen, somebody put on a fucking nightlight. I'm coming over there and I'm grabbing my console.
Yeah. You're either gonna be there or I'm gonna do this the hard way. You know.
Now, here's my question. I'm gonna go back to Blue, and then we'll kind of move on to a lot of other people's first day experiences. But Blue, did they just truck in like celebrity, and then a celebrity left, and another one came? Because I saw Conan O'Brien, I saw Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq was there. Conan was there. They had Ronda Rousey showed up, which was pretty funny. I missed her entrance, but I saw her leave. And some of the people that they showed on the Mixer, because we were watching the Mixer stream while we were outside. It was kind of hilarious. Some of the people that they showed on the Mixer stream were not there. So I mean, they kind of. That was
they probably
weird.
patched them in. Well, they do that on the New Year's Eve thing too. You're there, you're watching the ball drop, and they're like, and now we're gonna talk to Steven Tyler. Meanwhile, Steven Tyler's he's in the middle of the sand having a mixed drink, on some beach. It's definitely not freezing his ass off in New York City. So I mean, they kind of do that thing for but I saw Caleb, Conan.
Well, yeah, he was in the store. I don't think he hung out with the people out front. And Caleb, they actually brought him down. The Stranger Things guy, they brought him down the line and were just like, hey guys, look who we have here. He was not super, because everybody has their entourage. Like everyone else had an entourage. Like they had the people, like their security and stuff. So
he didn't.
But I did see Rod Ferguson. I took a picture with him, which was pretty cool.
that.
And we spoke and we chatted a little bit, which was nice. And I did take a picture with Phil, and that picture was more just like a quick, like, hey, you want to take a picture with me? Because he was about to leave. But he was nice enough to actually stand out there and take pictures with people. And I did meet Tim Dog and Megatron, which was really awesome.
Tim Dog.
Guys.
Dog.
And then I don't know if you guys know Rukari Austin. He was the mixer host. Like he was like,
Yes.
he was talking to a lot of people on the line too, so that was pretty awesome with him. So the people that actually came to the line and spoke to us, I have a lot of more respect for. And Aaron was out there a lot too, because it was freezing. They didn't have to come outside, and they actually interacted with us, which was really nice.
I mean, I gotta say, and I kind of give everybody a pass. I know what you mean by that, Blue, and you were there seeing it with your own eyes. So with me, just listening to your story, absorbing it, and then regurgitating it back out, my whole thing is this. I don't really blame Phil. When you're Phil, you're like the captain of the ship. That person doesn't always come out and start high-fiving people and being, like taking selfies. Like he's the guy. So he's inside, he's making shit's working, things are going to happen on time, making sure lights are right. You know what I mean? Like he's making all the decisions. He wasn't inside eating a cupcake. So, like, he's doing everything. I understand him now. Aaron's job is what you just described. Major Nelson's job is he should have actually been more outside from what I'm picking up from what you're saying. I think Major Nelson should have been outside the whole time with a camera crew.
He wasn't doing it.
That's me.
He was doing a lot of inside stuff.
Well, the word on the street is Larry's not a people person. You know what I mean? So it's hard that he has the people person position, but nonetheless, that's a whole nother crossfire.
They did also give us swag bags, which was pretty freaking awesome. We got a backpack that said Xbox One X. We got a chip pin that is the chip of what's inside the Xbox One X.
Very cool.
We got a T-shirt with that has like the graphic of the pieces that make the Xbox One X. We got a hat that has like the Xbox logo. They gave us free Doritos and Mountain Dew, which was pretty fun. And we got people that were waiting in the line that didn't win game passes. They just gave them out to us. I guess they had like extras.
Nice. You officially gave me jelly. I'm just saying right now.
I'm not done. And they gave us they gave us Fusion Frenzy and Crimson Skies codes, and they also gave us a free Xbox controller.
That's dope.
All right, so listen, let me just say this much. You know why Blue's breaking to me all this to everybody today? Because if she told me that the night she was tweeting me when this was all going on, I would have been bothering her for a week for half of that shit. So very, very smart of you. Your anti-mook skills.
Like you don't need Crimson Skies. It's okay.
Listen, I haven't played that in a long time. Blue, let it go. Let it go. But no, that sounds really great. It sounds like they know what they're doing. They did a really good job. It was nice that they did it in New York. Why they did it in New York, I'm actually I don't know.
The flagship store.
That's really nice of them to say. Come on, that's bullshit. But anyways, you know what I mean? Like
that's what they have when the celebrities
go.
They have to have, every business has a place that they consider their flagship place of business to show off to whoever's going to invest in them.
I mean, I want to say this much. I was actually impressed not only with the stars that showed up, okay, but I like the quality of stars that showed up, and I like how long they stayed and hung out with the fans. And that's something you get in New York. Like, New York is a tight-knit city. You guys don't understand this. Like, all you guys on the West Coast that live out there, like, West Coast is spread out. Everything's, like, open. I've been to LA a bunch of times, and it's not that you don't see people in LA that are like Hollywood. You do. You really do. But not as much as New York. Like, New York is so tight-knit. You just like people are just chilling. Yeah. And it's like they're just there, and like they I bet you that dude from Stranger Things was like, yo, what is this huge line around the corner?
Oh my god, people would stop every like 5 minutes. Someone would stop and be like, what are you guys waiting for? And people would be like, oh, Xbox One X. Someone was like, what is that?
Right.
Oh god.
It is what you know what it is, boom. It is what it is, right? I mean, that's what we say all the time on these podcasts, is it's great to see everybody in the chat and this and that. But when we talk, I'll speak for myself. But sometimes Craps does it too. Like, when we talk, we are trying to make everyone understand that when we make a comment, it's not like, how dare you say that, Mooch? You're out of your mind. It's not that we're saying it to be rude. We're saying it because on the broad level, people don't really know what's going on. I have my friends that play Xbox, what you would call a decent amount. But they don't know who Rod Ferguson is.
Yeah, they don't care.
Who's Rod Ferguson?
Who's this old guy you're taking pictures with? Huh?
Yeah, and if I said Larry Herb and then I said Major Nelson, they're like, well, which one is he? You know, I don't know what you know. Was he got 2 aliases? So
I didn't even hear about that store doing that thing, and then me and Mooch were doing the MNC evenings,
yeah.
like special kickoff, and we kept seeing the pictures you guys are tweeting.
that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and people were actually donating. I guess they were giving out years of Game Pass to a lot of people because some people donated theirs, and we gave some away that night as well. So
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
No, very cool.
You know what's
I just want to say one personal thing here. I have recently made it my personal goal to actually take over for Major Nelson. I think Xbox needs Major
Damn, look
Xbox in there
God.
instead of
Love.
Major Nelson. What do you guys think?
You have big goals,
Oh,
sir.
I think Mel is Team Mooch apparently, and Mooch is getting all the money.
If you
Yeah.
don't know by now
Look at
that
that.
Mel is Team Mooch, crap,
That's
you
okay, I
have
got Sonic
not
Forces.
been paying attention.
I guess. Oh, Delilah even jumping in there. Wow,
That's my
look at-
D. That's me. That D is on my team.
Yeah.
Delilah's always with me.
Yeah.
You like that crap?
I'm
Thank you, Delilah.
crap,
Thank you.
crap liver apparently. Damn.
Crap liver. That'll come back.
I don't know if you guys also heard. They gave us free food.
That's what I wanted to ask, honestly. You know what I mean? Because of my food references. What did they give you guys? Like, that
They
is a
gave
big
us
deal.
Gyros, and I was like, "What? Is this free?" I asked the guy. I was like, "Is this free for me?" And he was like, "Yeah, you take it." And I was like, "Oh my god, thank you so." I was starving.
I would have
was
been like
literally-
kind of too.
I didn't have anything to eat from work to there. And then 7 hours standing there. I had nothing to eat the entire time. So when he brought that to me, it was like, ah.
You know, it is a big thing, and a lot of people don't understand what Blue was standing in line for a long time. I actually, every crap earmuffs. You don't like these Apple stories, but I actually stayed overnight when the Apple iPhone 4 first came out. That was the revolutionary when they changed from the 3G and they went from the black plastic to like that glass for the first time. That was like the big hype. That was when everyone was always talking about. Ended up being antenna gate and all that other stuff, but that was before. And we were in line for a very long time. I think it was like 12 to 15 hours. And Apple did feed us. Like plentiful. Like they gave us breakfast sandwiches. They gave us at lunch. They brought these BLTs, like everything made and catered, like big, and like we're not even there. Like we're there just for the reveal of the iPhone 4. So that's a really cool thing, Blue. I'm glad you kind of brought that up. That's something that shows you that Microsoft is not what you guys think they are. They're not this evil empire anymore, especially not now. I mean,
No, they were nice.
they're really, really doing their best to put their best foot forward for the consumer first. And I mean, even people that are out 150, 250, 350 people to feed them and give them these like swag like gifts. That's awesome. I mean, I think that's really, really
The only
cool.
reason why we were out there for so long anyway was because they were letting people go upstairs and test out the different games that they had on display on 4K TVs.
Right.
And so they only were able to bring us up 5 at a time because the elevator couldn't hold too many people. And so, I mean, when I went up there and finally got to play the games, because they had NBA 2K, Madden, Gears of War, Halos, and I say Halos S because there were like the 3 different ones. And then they had Super Lucky Tail. They had just like a whole bunch of games that you guys can see on the Xbox enhanced list. And honestly, I was convinced that I need to get a 4K monitor, like a 4K TV.
You have to, Blue. You
yeah,
have
like
to.
super soon because that shit looks amazing.
Well, you know what it is, and I'm kind of glad because we'll kind of go on from this subject onto another. And I'll tell you, I think this is really important to notice. Like 4K TVs, folks, are not out of anyone's realm. And now, shout out to Tim Dog, who's been putting all these prices out all day. There's sales, and we're not even at Black Friday yet. There's LG OLEDs, 55-inch, going for $1,700. I know some of you are like, Mooch, take it easy, okay? I don't have $1,700. I get that. But this television was $3,000 a couple weeks ago. You got to look at what's happening here, folks. 4K is what's going to be in everybody's home. You can't even walk into Best Buy right now and be like, excuse me, sir. No, you in the blue shirt. Yeah, come here. Where are the 1080p TVs? He's going to point to the exit sign. Get the fuck out of here. There aren't any. So, like, this is where we're going, folks. And I mean, now, crap, did you see the Digital Foundry video that came out? I believe it was today. Pardon me if it was yesterday. But that Halo 5, and I should actually, how amazing. First of all, the review was amazing. I fell out of my seat that I couldn't believe how grand the review was. But like it is really, really showing that 343 is utilizing the power of the box.
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
Have you
I played it.
I
Oh
did.
my goodness.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal. They did a good job with it. It really just goes to show you that what Microsoft is doing is benefiting all gamers. And what's funny about it is If you look at stuff like even the first Assassin's Creed, I saw this article today that's like, holy crap, the first Assassin's Creed looks amazing. Halo 3 looks amazing. Fallout looks amazing. These games are they're getting upgrades without even, they're remastered basically without us having to spend any more money on them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's a good thing.
And crap, you say
that's
really this in almost every one of your videos, and I want to hear the panel here. Chime in, Don. Chime in, boom. This is what we've been preaching for about a few weeks now. Not only is it if you have a 4K TV, but if you do happen to have a 1080p TV at home, and Digital Foundry reiterated it, you will see a noticeable difference in the quality of the game. But the thing is people are saying, well, where are the games? Where are the games? First of all, anybody that says that, you have to literally treat them like they don't exist.
High.
Yeah, like walk right past them. Yeah. Because not only do you have the games that are coming out third party this fall, but Microsoft has taken their due diligence and gone back and they've restructured all of the games you already own. I just put it in the chat. Halo 5, if you play Halo 5 today, it's like you're playing a brand new game. Now,
it is so sharp.
What do you think?
I got to tell you, I put about 2 hours into Halo 5 because what I did is I'm like, crap, not only do we buy everything together, we kind of play the same, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because as much as I want to like stay with Assassin's Creed, I actually felt guilty not seeing all of the other games. So I played Star Wars Battlefront 2. I played Super Lucky's Tale.
God, Battlefront 2 is like holy crap.
Battlefront 2 is going to be, and I said this in my video I posted last night, going to be the showcase for your X. The character models look like you can reach into the screen and pull them out as if they were toys. That's how realistic the character models. And I'm going to tell you this. I know you said you're sold on it. The single player, what I've played, where they allowed me to play, was amazing, Mooch. Well worth the price.
I've already come around. I'm definitely going to be playing that day one. Now, answer me this, guys. I asked Crap, and Crap answered half my question on Twitter. If you have EA access and you purchase Star Wars Battlefront 2, you're going to get the 10% discount. You'll get some other points that Crap was telling me about. But do you get to play the game in full? Did you own it earlier than its release day?
No, it's partial on the campaign and it's full on the multiplayer.
Right, yes.
So
okay, so if I purchase it tonight, I would get full multiplayer.
Yes. Yep. And you'll get about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours, depending on the single player.
Okay. I mean, if you purchase it, I don't know why they don't relinquish it, but maybe that's just the way it is.
But we gotta go back to that Halo thing real quick because I gotta say something here. There was a couple missions in the campaign where you would walk around. You have to walk around and talk to people and stuff like that. And those were the missions that Digital Foundry kind of just went in on Halo for.
Right.
Because the textures on the ground, the ground textures, they weren't the greatest, right? They weren't the greatest. I went back in. The first thing I did was go into those missions in the campaign because it's what they call a glassed world, and it's one of the things. If you're a Halo fan, one of the things you've wanted to see for like ever in the game is a glassed world. They did so much better with the textures on the ground. They had light reflecting off of bits and pieces that were kind of glassed over. You saw the sand particles, everything. They went in and they gave that overhaul, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. It looked great before. I gave the game a 9 out of 10. All right, when I reviewed it when it came out, I can't get it any higher. The game, it looks absolutely fantastic now.
The problem is there's so many great games to play now. Myself personally, of course, there's the three everyone talks about, right? There's Star Wars, there's Call of Duty, there's Assassin's Creed. So everyone's just to get through those. By the way, if you have a full-time job, that's going to take you till January. But even if you don't and you like just buckle in and take care of those, then I have games like Tomb Raider that I want to go back and play. Really bad. I'm finishing Evil Within. I'm now on a chapter 14 or 15. I think there's 17's the end. Boom, I'm almost there.
Yep, 17.
I'll finish it by the end of the weekend, and like that's just like that game is amazing, and they went and enhanced that. Now, here's the thing, okay? We've been talking about rosy glow and everything's just great and everything's fancy. Here's the thing, and Don, if you know this answer, chime in. I don't know if you know this, but like myself personally, so it says, hey, the Evil Within 2 has been enhanced for the Xbox One X. Of course, I'm excited. I go in, I follow the rules and regulations, I figure out where it is. Okay, there it is. Okay. here's the deal. It says when you do it, it's already toggled. Like it tells you what and what you can't do in the game. You can unlock the frame rate. The enhancements to the graphical capability is done automatically. You can't go into graphics and turn that one on and off in the Evil Within 2. In other games, you can. In this one, it's already been enhanced. Now, is it trying to say to me it used to be unlocked and now you can option to lock it? Or is it unlocked, and if you unlock it, the resolution that they upped will be diminished slightly? You see, these are the things I don't know going into some of these games. And I think a lot of people have been writing about it on Twitter, being like, am I getting full 4K? Am I getting 1800p? Am I getting 60 frames? Am I getting locked 30? There's a little bit of this, and this is the same thing on PS4 Pro. I don't know. I'm confused on that. Do you guys see where, like on the Evil Within 2, where it's a little fuzzy?
You know, it's one of those things. I don't think there's an easy way to do all that, right? There's just too many variables now, right?
Correct.
You know, there's higher texture quality, better anti-aliasing. You got better light effects. You have, I mean, you can throw the whole entire kitchen sink at the game now, right? With the power that's in the box. So developers are going to take different choices. And honestly, the choices, they know their game better than anybody else. And this is something I've been preaching for a while, right? So they know basically what they had to cut back and what you're missing out on. So I would say in a lot of ways, just trust the developer. They want to make their game shine. And they're going to give it to you. Now,
but in the case, Don, where it's locked or unlocked, what's your recommendation?
I always recommend whatever the original frame rate was, run that.
I agree.
Just because the game is designed around it doesn't mean you can't run higher frame rates if the developer chooses to go that direction. And if you want to play around with it, or you're very much a stick in the mud about the frame rate, go for it. But I honestly think it's pretty noticeable. Like if you go into Gears, and I was playing with Dealer, and we were just playing Horde mode, right? Because Horde mode was always 30 frames per second, and he wanted to see if it would drop when you went into performance mode, 60 frames. And it a couple hitches here and there I picked up on, Dealer picked up on, but it's like maybe like 1% or 2% of the game time that you played that you have to have the key eye to see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I noticed the difference in the 4K. I mean, this is what I do all day is graphic stuff, right? So, I saw that difference almost immediately when you switch to the 60 frames, the benefits there. And I also saw the benefits immediately when you turn back to the 4K, because that game's got the assets to really show it off. So I think a lot of people, it's going to be pretty obvious, but I would just say trust the developer, go with the original frame rate if you don't know what to do at first. And go from there. And if you want to go play it again through the performance mode, go for it.
Don, I actually agree with you, and I'm actually glad you said that, because I think you're basically the deciding factor on when I've been flipping a coin left and right. And to the audience who may not know, in layman's terms, what Don's saying is, okay, let's pick on a new character. Let's say Tomb Raider. So Tomb Raider was originally a 30 frame per second game. That's the way it was intended originally. And Crap's been saying this since day one too. Is you're probably better off going with the 4K 30 option on that game versus going with the
a good example of this, and I've been seeing a lot of people say this. I played Gears 4, 4K 30, the campaign. Right. Holy crap.
It's amazing.
That was the most gorgeous thing with the HDR, the 4K, the effects. It popped, and it's still fluid at 30 because that's, you know what I mean? It's not like, I think this a lot of times when the PC dudes, and I think Dealer might have said this and Hellhammer said this, PC, when they have struggling frame rates, it's worse. You know what I mean? It's like it gets real choppy and bad.
Yeah, chuggy, yeah.
Yeah, it gets real chuggy and it's real like for me, when I was playing Gears 4 the campaign, 4K 30, that looked amazing, right? Then I switched it to the up to 60 frames per second mode, but it doesn't look nearly as good. And I'm not good at that, being able to spot differences. But I was like, I went back right to the 4K 30. I was like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like for me.
You made a great point, Crap. You said it a while ago, and I think it was the best selling point. You said we're all here. A lot of us are going out buying 4K TVs, and then you're going to opt for the 60 frame option.
To be honest, buy a fucking 4K TVs to play not 4K or as close to it as possible.
And I'm going to say this one more time, and then I'm going to let the panel take over. This is something I think everyone needs to understand when you're making this decision. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people on YouTube that, and forget the media. The gaming media to me doesn't really exist. There's a lot of people on YouTube that I really do respect, and I truly still listen to their channels, but they really push, they drive that 60 frames down your throat. And now that I've had the opportunity to toggle either an unlocked and get into the high 50s or a lock 60 on certain and, diminish some of the graphical, the resolution. I got to tell you, and people complained about Destiny being 30 frames. Like, once you play a game, whichever the game is, the way it's intended, that's the way it is. And
the Don made a good video about that a while ago, and it was like, as a developer, it was really easy to kind of respect that. And him and I were talking about that on Twitter yesterday. Right. I think I was just like, because I was talking about the Gears 4 situation, and I was like, yeah, it just feels great. Like, a lot of times PC gamers will push games past what the developers really want, and then just like Albert Pinello, that's what this all came from. He did an interview, and he's like, you know what, the X can do 60 frames per second on games, but the problem is developers develop these games and they want them to shine, and they always push them up graphically as opposed to the frame rate. It's really a thing between developers and gamers. Not they can't force developers to do 60.
One of the things is important to understand why they do it on the PC side of things. One of the biggest things is the player input, what you're controlling the game with. You're controlling your game with a mouse, right? Versus a set of analog sticks. And that's the biggest reason why, one of the biggest reasons, unknown to the PC gamer or not, why they always choose a higher frame rate is because of that. Because that player input's tied to more of a one-to-one motion with that mouse. And that's why the games end up controlling like crap on PC if you don't have that higher frame rate, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that tends to happen is frame rate pacing, right? So on PC, frame rate pacing is not the best. But when you just brute force a bunch of extra frames, if you have a couple of frames that's, basically are stutter stepping or, have screen tearing and things like that, and there are other technologies to help prevent that stuff, but, that's what they're trying to prevent on that front. On console gaming, there is this thing called, basically, frame rate pacing is perfect. The one-to-one, it's not perfect, but it's much better on consoles because the game is optimized for the hardware. So regardless if they target a 30 or target a 60, they really understand what's in the hardware, what's in the box, and how to get that consistent frame rate.
Yeah, they're hitting a moving target with PC, is what you're saying.
PCs, well, a lot of times, like the options they give PC guys, like first off, they don't give you all the options that really they could. They just give enough options to kind of move that needle enough for all the different hardware segments that exist out there, right? And they pretty much just like, okay, here's the options. You guys go figure it out. Like they kind of like just throw them to the wolves, right?
Listen, but here's the thing though, Don, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're a developer, and I really do want to ask this question. These consoles are made, the reason we're console gamers is we don't want to go in and have to tweak 75 different things. And I understand that you're like, well, Mooch, calm down. It's only one or two. Yeah, I get that. But the thing is, though, sometimes we're sitting there and you're toggling. I'm spending 15 minutes going back and forth and be like, do I want to do it like this? Do I want to do it like that? It's like I say all the time. You go to your favorite restaurant, you sit down. Nobody makes a sauce like my family makes a sauce. That's just the way I'm instilled. It's instilled in me. But when I'm sitting there and I'm eating an amazing dish out at a crazy, great Italian restaurant in New York, guess what? I'm not going to go back in the back of the kitchen, throw the plate at him and be like, make it like my family. No, I'm eating it the way the chef prepared it, okay? I'm eating it the way he prepared it. You guys are the developers. I really think that you guys should just make the game at the best quality you can, whether it be frames or 4K, and that's what we eat. That's the meal. Like, it's not, here I am, I'm like, I'm tweaking this and I'm tweaking that, and you're like, oh, Mooch, you shouldn't have done that. You really should have played it in 4K. It's like, no, Mooch, shit.
I am very happy to hear you say this because, like, me and the Don, because the Don, brought it up and talked about the Don.
There it is. Nice. Yeah. Now we can eat. Go ahead.
We've been talking about this, and yeah, the developers, I mean, just look at a game like Forza Horizon, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Which, all the stuff that they do to give you the sense of speed while keeping the game at 30 frames per second, they are freaking geniuses at making a game like that. Now, if everything was just about, hey, well, no 60 frames per second or something like that, like, I love what they did with that game, and they tailored that game around that 30 frames per second, and it's a great game. Like, exactly. Why mess with it now?
As you get to playing it, you don't play Forza Horizon 3. Remember when everybody was saying, oh my God, it's the best looking game I've ever played. It's so great. It's so this. It's so that. Hot Wheels came out. It's amazing. It's amazing. Nobody was like, oh, fuck that game. It's not in 60 frames. No, because we got used to playing it that way, and they did such a great job of putting it out that way.
You know what the funny part was because they did a good job with having the speed feel really good. And a good example of that is if you've played Gran Turismo Sport, even though that's a 60 FPS or, close to it, I guess, The game doesn't have that sense of speed. I would actually think that Forza Horizon, even at 30, feels like you're going faster. They don't really do a good job about that. So
I do think
as
it
for
depends.
Luca in the chat, let me just explain this real quick. I get that you're all about they look good regardless, but to me, like when I was playing Gears 4, the 4K 30 was fine. I thought the gameplay didn't suffer at all, and I also thought that it looked next generation to me. When I put it back to 1080p 60, I didn't really notice a difference in the gameplay, and the game looked like the multiplayer almost to me, which didn't look nearly as good. So I was like, huh. Same thing when I played, Assassin's Creed doesn't let you play, but I tried out Tomb Raider as well, 4K 30, amazing.
I tried it also. It looks stunning.
Blue, what were you gonna say? What do you think about that?
I think it depends on the game and like what you're going for, because if you're trying to play a first-person shooter and you think that 30 frames is gonna work for you, you're mistaken, because the guy that has 60 frames is probably going to have an advantage.
Well, there's no games on console that are like that. Every multiplayer game is 60 frames except for Destiny 2,
and everybody's 30 there, so it's still even. But I mean,
but the person playing on PC, right, with a game like Gears that has 60 frames per second, and if it's cross-platform and they're playing with someone who's playing at 30 frames, it's like,
well, the 30 frame option is only a thing for single player. So it's not a problem. Like the multiplayer is 60 no matter what. 4K 60 multiplayer.
I'm not saying Gears specifically. I'm just saying like a game that has cross-platform. If they change if the person's playing multiplayer at 30 and someone's playing at 60 and they are able to, they're gonna be at a disadvantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the game and what.
If you look back at Halo, like some of the Halo or some of the other games, they allow, or I believe Call of Duty as well, right? That used to let you do split screen multiplayer, right? And if you did the split screen multiplayer, you would actually only get 30 frames per second. So I mean, like I think it depends. Like it's a weird kind of situation. But again,
Luca made a point though, crap, to say like gameplay, overall, and don't get me wrong, it's funny because 3 weeks ago, I kind of said what Luca said, and now I don't necessarily feel. That's
why you made me proud, man.
I don't think that's because I was playing The Evil Within, okay, and I unlocked the frame rate, which, don't get me wrong, it made the game move even faster. Movement was a little easier. Maybe even the shooting mechanic got a little bit better, but I lost a little bit of the detail I was seeing in the enriched resolution, and for some reason, I don't know. I mean, this is a me thing. But I went back to the 4K or, the closer to it, whatever they were giving us. I went back to that, and I went back to a lock 30. And here's the way I look at it. It kind of goes back to what Don's saying. And that is, like, let the developer tell us how they want us to play it. Because let's be honest, guys, this is their envisionment. This is their dream. This is their work. This is their work of art that we're playing.
Well, here's the thing. Like Don was saying, right? Gears 4, the campaign was meant to be 30. So them doing it up to 60, to me it doesn't look terrible, but it looks almost like campaign style texture or like multiplayer type texture.
It was multiplayer.
It didn't look it didn't look nearly as good. And the 30 was so smooth anyway.
Right.
Well, here's the other argument with 60 frames versus 30 frames per second. Like, I think lock is another important thing, right? Variable frame rate. It gives weird feedback to the player, right? So if you're gonna do 60, do it lock 60, right? If you can't do it lock 60, don't do it at all. Do it lock 30.
Right.
Agree.
And that gives you more consistent visuals, more consistent feedback. And it's also important that this is the things that gamers just don't know or understand sometimes, right? And there's no way for you to know unless the developer just comes out and says it, or you know how to poke around in the code. Some games are tied, the input's tied to every other frame if it's a 60 frames per second game. So you can drop it 30, you do it 60, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the gameplay at all. Matter of fact, they do blind, big studios or big publishers will do blind tests of just kind of a rough outline of what a game is, so they can figure out what their target frame rate is, because they pick that target early on, right, and design the game around it. So it's one of those things. It's not a black or white answer. It's one of those things you never want to put a very particular number that paints developers into a creative corner, right?
Yeah.
Let them paint themselves in that creative corner themselves and double down on what those bets are, right?
Yeah.
And it's not even particular genres, right? Like obviously Destiny can play pretty decently at 30 frames per second. Bungie's been doing it for years, right? But you can't take a Call of Duty game and the gameplay mechanics of that and put it at 30 frames and expect someone to have a good time, right? But they're both shooters.
Yeah.
The way the games are designed are different. The way the run speeds, everything about it, it's just totally different from one another. So it's just not very cut and dry like people want it to be.
Yeah, it's a very cool situation, right? Because games that are built at 60 obviously feel better. Games that are built at 30 and then they crank. A good example of this is the Halo Master Chief Collection. Even at they like upped that to 60, that never felt like a good 60.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not alone on that, right? Like that didn't feel like a good 60.
It didn't.
Or you sacrifice visuals and you get hate for it, right? Like Halo 5. That one, it went all out to get 60 FPS, including less like shitty textures.
A dynamic resolution, and people
people flipped out, and it had muddy textures and stuff. That was all to get better gameplay. But then people bashed the fucking graphics.
Right, right,
So it's like you can't do one, you can't do the other. For me,
go ahead,
man, it's like, I'm all about like the gameplay, but don't like I like graphics too.
Myself personally, I hope to God that the rest of this generation isn't what I'm going to call the a la carte generation. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like every game comes as a buffet choice.
Well, Don had a good idea with that, though. I think he said something like that on Twitter. He goes, he would like to see the developers stick to their vision and then maybe post-launch 6 months later or something, maybe add an option.
Yeah, give us the best option for the power. Go ahead, Blue.
I like options. I like being able to decide what looks better for me depending on the game. I mean,
let me ask you a counter argument to that, right? So you like options, and I know a lot of other people are listening and likes options, right? But do you like options at the sacrifice for console optimization experience?
I mean, no.
I don't.
That's what you're dealing with, and that's what people need to understand, right?
Right.
That console optimized experience. Why we're all console gamers. We want that optimized experience where the developers squeeze everything they can out of the box so that they feel fit. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say, like, if you present the 30 frames versus 60 frames option in non-optimized experience for the console, you can do that at launch. You can do that. But I want the optimized experience. Now, if you want to do the other option down the road for those people that really want that, that's cool. Give them the best experience in that other frame rate. But don't do it at the compromise at the launch of your title or launch of a new.
Well, and you know what? And Don, don't get me wrong. What you're saying, Don, I agree with you. I do. But in Blue's defense, I'm okay with it. But can we get let's put it this way: Gears of War, right? You finally find the option. You go to enhancement, and it's like visual performance. There's no description. There's no this. Yeah. There's no that. Like you have to tell people.
You want a better description.
If you click this is what will happen.
I couldn't even find
the average Joe. Like most people don't know what this.
They don't. So that's why people are like, should I buy an X or should I not? Am I supposed to give my friends an instruction manual from Mooch? This is what you do. Like nobody's gonna even want it. What the? I mean, nobody. Yeah, here you go. It's in crayon. Listen, the thing about it is like people don't realize you have to make this for layman's terms, and they made this console for like the hardcore, the people that listen to IGN or Kotaku or Crap or watch our podcast. Otherwise, people have no idea what's going on. Like I'll give you an example. Okay, I know exactly what's going on, and when I click locked or unlocked on Evil Within 2, it does not tell me the repercussion of either. Nothing happens. I mean, and that's not fair to the gamer.
Well, I think this is going to be something that a lot of these developers are going to hear the complaints, and then moving on, they're going to change that, because you got to remember this is we're charting uncharted waters right now. Mm-hmm. Everyone is just trying to get their games running, to match the system's power.
Get on that list.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that either was not in the game and they're trying to get into the game with these updates. So I hear what you're saying, and you make perfect sense. And actually, it would make sense, because like you, I didn't know where to go in Gears. I was like, okay,
It's
where
the
do I
main
go?
menu. Yeah, it's weird.
It's deep in the menus section.
You can't do it mid game either. You have to be at the main
you have,
menu.
you have to back out to the title screen. Yep.
So it's good to like pull out all the faults and point that out, but it's also good to offer solutions, right? There's two things I want to see going forward, right? When you start a new title, and if you are given options as a player, right? Just like when you're choosing how bright or dark the screen is, you should have that option and with a good description of what you're choosing and what your options are. The other that I want to see is when you actually have your game patched, I want to see the thumbnail on my console change to enhance.
Thank you.
Yes.
Exactly what it's there.
Yes.
So it's we're all talking about that because not everything is the smoothest, right? But it's all about offering solution. Those are the two things I want to see.
You know what, Don? You can even make it easier. And you guys that are Destiny people will know if you're team leader in Destiny, your banner in the left corner has a slight little like yellow triangle in the left corner. Each of the games in my games and apps should have a yellow tag in the corner which equals enhanced or whatever they want to do. A green triangle. I don't care.
I can make this. You know what they need to do. This is what it is, and this is what I was concerned about when people started talking this generation, because a lot of things are blending in console, PC, and they're mixing in and stuff like that. They need to consoleize the whole features aspect.
Right, because our whole pitch, Xbot, is that we play console for convenience.
Exactly.
If all of a sudden we're searching through 13 layers of options.
Exactly. And what it is right now, the way they're giving the options is more on a PC type scale, where they have to go back into the ease of use. They have to have it right there in the options, let you know exactly, in the little description, what's going to happen if you do this one, what's going to happen if you do that one. Ease of use. It's
Agreed.
Right there at the surface, right at your options.
I mean, Don, can you see what we're saying? Is this going to happen? Can you bring it up to even someone that you're working with?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to step out.
That's all right. No, that's all right. No, what we're saying is
cooking some type of meat.
Make it more like an ease of use, like type of some kind of meat.
I'm always smoking something.
Nice. Not grass, but listen. The thing is, but Don, what we're asking from developers is make this thing console appropriate. Like, why do we have to dig through 4 layers? And don't get me wrong, I don't even mind if you're like Moosh. Calm down. You hit options, you go to visuals. No, I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. That's tolerable. But like on Gears of War, it's on this side, under there, go over there, press that. Okay, great. You go over to Evil Within, it's over here, scroll over with the RB. You have to be consistent. It's got to be, everyone has to have options. You hit options,
it did
you go
just
to visuals.
come out, though.
I know, crap,
they can clean that up.
Not really, crap, because they've been doing this for the PS4 Pro for a year now. So they've had a year.
So here's one of the things I think PC.
Pro, hold on though, Mooch. The Pro just lets you go into the menu of the game itself and switch it around. The Xbox, the games haven't really done that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit more convoluted. So I do think that they will clean that up in the future.
I agree with you. I think I'm just speaking to, can we please at least work on this a little more sooner than later?
And this is one of those things like, console gamers have a certain expectation that has to be met there, right?
Right.
This is one of those expectations that I think it's going to also help PC gaming as well, right? So, PC gaming, you boot up the game, it has some presets already done based on your hardware, and you're in. And you're like, well, I didn't want to run it like that. I wanted to see what my options were, right? So you have to back out of the game, go dig through some menus. This is something that exists in the PC side of things for a lot, right? So this is one of those things that console gamers expect a certain thing. I think PC gamers will benefit of it. I think before you even start the game, the option should be presented to the gamer, right? What they want, just like calibrating their screen, the brightness of their television.
Exactly.
And it should be right there, very first thing. And then when you set it to your personal preference.
Bravo, Don. Bravo. Exactly how I feel about that.
That's my solution to it. But
because that's annoying when they're like, you have to pull the extensions out to the sides of your screen and then pull, slide the cursor left and right until the middle emblem is barely visible. Yeah, we don't like doing that, but at the end of the day, it gives you a better experience throughout the course of your game. And Don's right. Then when you're sitting there, right in front of you, after you get done with those two options, is 60 frames, lower resolution, higher resolution, less frames. All right, let's move on. Let's play the game. and it makes it easy, and we just move on from it. Speaking of moving on, let's go on to the next subject here. I do agree with you guys on that, but I mean, let's talk about EA, right? This is big news yesterday. EA buys Respawn, and I'll be honest with you, I was one of the first people that said, damn, another missed opportunity by Microsoft. I mean, and then, you know, I get into some really, really deep conversations with people on Twitter.
Yeah, you don't ever want to make those kind of things. I had to sit there and talk.
You did too. I know. I
saw you. And these other Boogermen or Boogermen or whatever.
The Wagerman man.
It was like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah, but you know what though? Crap. Don't get me wrong. I agreed with you, but I do understand their point in certain retrospects. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that they should have hopped on it?
What do you think EA bought them? I don't believe in coincidences, first of all. The day, like a week after Microsoft announces they're looking to acquire studios, and then all of a sudden EA snatches up.
They're like, nope, can't have this.
Earlier than that, look at the studio they just closed down. That was planned.
Yes.
This thing was planned. They closed that particular studio. They want to cut the bleeding on that particular thing. They also know that Respawn is working on a
Star Wars game. Yep.
Along with their IP. They want to own that. They want to lock that IP because they do see potential in Titanfall, and it does still have potential.
Absolutely.
They released it at a shitty time, and they changed it too much. They'll probably go back in the third one will be good again.
Exactly.
Right.
And you know what? And so this is a planned move.
I'm scared for Respawn. That's all I got to say, man.
Well,
no, don't be scared. They made $455 million yesterday.
Well,
they're
they made 300 and something million, and then
was it Codemasters or people that did the Project Cars thing? Do you remember what they did to that development team where they had them where they couldn't? It was Pro Street 2, I think, or something like that. They had them working on that game, and in the contract they couldn't like look for work elsewhere. They couldn't start any other projects and stuff. And slowly but surely, what they were trying to do, they were going for their developers to come to EA, and they were slowly squeezing that development team.
Well, let me make you feel better, Xbot. Let me make you feel better. If that's what they did, and they're going in, they're going to grab the talent, and then they're going to leave Titanfall behind. Guess what? Got news, and that's not what's going to happen. But if that's what you're worried about, Titanfall 3 wasn't going to happen anyways. So, like,
well, they stealth announced
now there's a chance.
It's not a chance. They stealth announced.
No, they confirmed that Titanfall 3 is going to come out. Yeah.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say confirmed, but they
confirmed it. They said they're working on the next Titanfall and also the Star Wars game. So I mean,
Star Wars I knew, but Titanfall I thought was like and we're acquiring Titanfall with the possibility of Titanfall.
Nope, they're cranked up, dude. That thing, I would expect that game to come out probably next year.
Here we go.
So
calendar.
So back to what Xbox talking about with like worried about closing them down. That particular studio with the Xbox talking about, they weren't owned by EA. They never were. They were independent. So this is a different situation. They bought the whole entire studio. They have all the talent now. They're not squeezing anybody out. They have the talent. Unless someone can't, that's going to basically put wrenches into the works and stop the workflow of their next project.
I'm sensing dirty. I'm sensing dirty EA again. Like,
see, you wouldn't like me, the Xbox, because myself personally, I would rather Microsoft absorbed Respawn, took the talented developers that they have, and they do have talented people over there, and put that towards a first-person shooter in your genre. That's your IP. It's a new IP in a new studio. That's what I would have done. And, if you want to own Titanfall IP that comes with it, let them keep working on the Star Wars one. That's fine. But, like, get something crazy going with those people, because Vincent Pella and his crew, like, they made Call of Duty what Call of Duty is today. Okay, the reason you're enjoying COD World War II is because of Vincent Pella. So, like, the whole thing is him. So why you wouldn't go grab them just for their talent is the part that confuses me. I understand you guys get a little wrapped up in the games, and don't get me wrong, I don't blame you, because that's why we fall in love with them in the first place. But at the end of the day, Don knows this. Don sees people working with him, getting traded and moved and opt to a new job all the time, because money talks and the rest walks. So, like, these guys, to grab them and put them under the Microsoft umbrella would have been huge. And $400 million, that's a shit ton of money for us to even talk about in a podcast. But for Microsoft, that's really, it's kind of a spit in the wind to get those IP and that talent. That talent's unbelievable.
Well, let me ask you this. Because I thought the same thing. Because obviously, to be honest, before Titanfall 2 was multi-platform, it was, in my opinion, obviously a Microsoft game. It was launched originally on the X.
Right.
But here's the thing: could there are a lot of companies out there that Microsoft, in fact, could acquire. I think when it's a possibility, has not been talked about, but because they're not doing anything with any of their IPs, it is a possibility, and that would be Konami. Right? They could buy all of Konami.
They're not buying. You guys can write this down, take a picture. I don't give a shit. They're never, ever gonna buy a Japanese company.
Ever?
Nah, you know what?
I don't think they're gonna buy one that has
that kind of baggage. Yeah.
Well, there's that. There, like, could you imagine that? Microsoft buys Konami. There's a match made in heaven. Two shit companies. Like, I could write all kinds of articles with headlines, right? Like, those two deserve each other.
Possibly buying Capcom. They're in financial big trouble.
It doesn't matter. They're never gonna do it.
That's like, I'm not trying to pick on Capcom, but you got to look at a track record of what they've done recently or what their trajectory is, right?
Right.
Capcom's trajectory is unfortunately on the way down, right? Like,
yes.
They're not the Capcom that you and I fell in love with
nope.
back in the 8 and 16-bit days. They're just simply not that company anymore. Same thing with Konami, right? So, a lot of
Konami's not even in gaming pretty much anymore.
Yeah, so a lot of, I think, their decisions is because Phil talked about buying studios and stuff like that. It's about studios they're up and coming. They're on a upward trajectory, right? Of continually making
Playground games.
Playground games would be a perfect example of that, right? Regardless of Microsoft's ties to them already, right? They are becoming a better and better company, and they were new. Like, they were brand new company as soon as they did the Forza Horizon.
Yeah. Each one got better and better reviews.
Absolutely.
And now they've expanded to be able to do an RPG as well. So that would be a perfect situation because Microsoft needs RPGs.
Right. I mean, I like what Don's saying is what Don's
making
saying is he's saying what the sports motto is, right? Crap, what have you done for me lately? Capcom's done nothing but a failure the past decade. So, like, Don's right. That's why that actually adds a little bit of oomph to what I'm saying, right, Don? Like, Respawn, I understand Titanfall 2 didn't sell well, but we know why it didn't do well. There's about 3 different reasons. But they all added to failure, not because of necessarily just the game, but they have the talent. They're working on a Star Wars game. That would mean that a Star Wars game that they're working on, that they got rights to, would be a Microsoft exclusive. Why wouldn't you lock that down? I mean, even that alone, you're going to make the $400 million back on that on the Star Wars game.
Well, I'm going to do you one better. Okay, let's say they don't buy them, right? Like, because what's done is done, right? Like, we have to accept the fact that EA owns, Respawn, right? But who has a strong tie with EA? Microsoft.
Yes.
Who's got that partnership in the past? What has held that partnership from happening on the second one? It's Respawn, right? So you basically took that linchpin of that possibility of exclusivity or whatever it may be away, and you kind of streamlined that partnership where basically Phil and company and Shannon could go to the heads of EA and say, hey, you know what? We'll fund the game, which is different than paying not to be on another platform. We are funding the game to be made for our platform. And they can do that and grow that team even more. So, I mean, there's benefits to this. I think if you're an Xbox guy, there's a potential for exclusive. I'm not saying there's going to be.
But there's definitely a possibility for sure.
But there's more of
you're talking about because of the relationship EA has with Microsoft.
Yeah, there's more of a possibility now than there ever has been. I would say. I don't know if that's what the direction they'll do, but
I will say that what Don's making more sense than he's already been making, is that Microsoft does like to go in, and they're doing it with PUBG. They did it with Tomb Raider. I think they're going to do it with the Tomb Raider that's coming out again.
I believe so.
They like to publish the game, and you know what I mean. They'll get first rights and a timed exclusive. They don't want to take content away from everybody. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. But you know what I mean. At the same time, I think what they want to do is they want to publish the game. It does what it's supposed to do, right? I mean, that's what PUBG 1 year on the Xbox One X, like, it's signified, it's branded as that console's game. Like, at the end of the day, after that, when it goes, like, Tomb Raider go on the PlayStation a year later, who cares?
It didn't even matter.
It's
no one
old.
put it there. Yeah,
it's old. It's like if somebody game gifts you like Soda Drinker Pro, who gives a shit? It's like so old, nobody cares.
Well,
like it's a waste.
it turns the competing platform into like Netflix or a Redbox, right? Like if you think about it. So
Absolutely. Good analogy.
Release on a console, that's like releasing it at the movie theaters. That's the big splash, right? That's the excitement, the big hype, and you're entertained. But eventually you start trying to make money on that product, not just a 3-month window, right? You're
Right.
trying to extend that. So what you do is when you allow it to be on other platforms, you're good to go. Well, Microsoft also, literally every game I can think of right now, is Microsoft's making money regardless if it's on their platform or not. So they want the big bucks on theirs, and as it trickles down, they'll let it go on the other platforms, and they're still going to make their money. That's still going to be rolled into other technologies that are going to benefit us as Xbox gamers. So there's really no.
Then let's get into speculation. Let's get into the speculation of it. Blue, let me start with you. You've heard about everybody talking about this for the past week since Phil mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Like now that you know what's left out there, like who are they going to buy? I don't think they're going to buy anybody, to be honest with you. I think they're just going to take all that money if he's got this kind of money, and they're going to build from the ground up. That's what Phil does. But that's my opinion. Do you think they're going to buy somebody or build from the ground up?
No, I think they're not going to buy anything. I think they're just going to just chillax a little bit.
Yep.
I think that they are really excited about doing things like what they're doing with PUBG and trying to find something that's already established, I guess, and sort of like bring it to like this is kind of innovative for them, I guess. Like sort of just like, hey, you guys, this is a big PC game, but look now, for the first time ever, you can play it here, And I feel like they're kind of trying to do things like that so that they can get more eyes on them.
And they look like heroes when they do something like that, right?
Oh my gosh, Xbox, you're so great, like that kind of thing. That whole like, because if you,
declare. No, that's what I got from it.
if you think about it, if you do something different and if you do something new, more people talk about you.
I agree.
And so they are really into trying to get more people talking, and that's basically like advertisement for them. Like their gimmicky like advertising is what they're doing a lot of now, and I feel like so whatever gets them that is what they're gonna go with.
Right, and a lot of people continuously bring up, oh, Microsoft should have bought BioWare. They should have bought BioWare. Well, who bought them? EA. No. And my whole point is that now in Xbox, I want to hear your opinion. But Respawn, it's not that Respawn is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. So don't take me the wrong way. That like, oh my God, they really let one slip by. But there's only so many times that a company with talent like BioWare, like Respawn, come by, and then what do you get left? You got table scraps, or you do what Blue's saying, and you do what kind of what a lot of NFL coaches do at the draft, and they try to strike dirt, right? Like, I know crap hates the earmuffs crap, but like Tom Brady was like a 7th or 9th round pick. He was a nobody.
He was like, but then the Patriots are like, this guy knows how to fucking cheat. Let's go ahead and bring him in.
Oh, here we go.
His deflation skills are like 99.
Well, hey, crap's a hater on him, but like if you even believe in Deflategate, that means he can throw a deflated ball even farther than somebody who can't. So I mean, he's skills.
He's used to it. Come on,
but you know what I mean? Like, so you can look at it either way.
I look at it a little bit differently. They're looking to get a few studios. This is the hard truth. There's not that much talent capable on the AAA level right now. They're going to have to buy some. They're going to need to make a big splash is what they're going to do.
They got to buy one or two to kind of get started. I agree.
Yeah, I see them starting their own one or two as well, but you're going to need to make a splash, and you're going to have to.
What are they going to do with what could they possibly get? I
already said Playground Games would be the smartest choice. Playground Games is making a new IP, a new RPG, and they make the Forza Horizon series. Those have been getting progressively better. That stock is on the rise right there.
Yeah.
Right. If you're going to buy anybody, it would be them. The second one would be Obsidian Entertainment.
Dude, you took the words right out of my mouth. That was going to be the next one.
They do RPGs. They did KOTOR 2. They've done Fallout New Vegas. And Microsoft needs RPGs. Yeah. So that's another one. And they said they're open to acquisition.
You gotta be honest though, crap. If you're gonna go ahead and say them, it's not that, by the way, that's not a bad call on choice, but that's a B team. You know what I mean? It's like
consider them a B team. I think Microsoft
Fallout New Vegas was not that. I played that game when it first came out. My friend who's a huge Fallout fan, that game had more bugs than Cat's Eye Pest Control.
Well, every Fallout game has bugs, engine and stuff. But it's still, KOTOR 2 is good. They do good work. They do RPGs. Microsoft needs something on a big way like that. If they just go, well, we opened up this new studio. Like I remember Black Tusk Studios when they opened, right? We're working on multiple new IPs. We're going to do the next Halo or Gears. Not those specifically. Well, funny enough, it ended up being the next Gears. But on that level, they were a team that was built to make that new AAA, quadruple A, is how they advertised it, new IP that was going to be that big, right? And then they ended up being the Gears. Who knows? Shanghai could have been that game. I don't know. But again, you need somebody, and look who they had to get in there to lead it. Rod Ferguson. There's only so many people like that.
Right.
You know, like Cliffy B or Kojima or whatever. And you got to do something proactive if you're Microsoft. So if I were them, I would go out there and acquire a couple, open a couple. You only have a handful of studios. And yes, your studios are mostly, you know, around because they're billion-dollar franchises. You know, all of them. Forza, billion-dollar franchise. Gears, billion-dollar franchise. Halo, billion-dollar franchise. Minecraft, billion-dollar franchise. You've got to have something, you know, good faith. People are really, like, Xbox fans are really buying into the X on good faith. Yeah, it's great. We're playing all these games and they're amazing and they're great, but we still at the end of the day would like, you know, the Fable or something new down the line.
Absolutely.
No, you make some good points, Crab.
The problem with them buying, like, this is why Playground Games makes sense, right? Is because that stuff's been exclusive already. The worry that I have would be is if they bought, you know, say they bought IO Interactive, who does the Hitman series, right? That makes sense because that would be a good series to put on their Game Pass, right? But seeing as how those games have never been exclusive, would they still let those?
Here's the problem too, Crap. Those games aren't doing well, period. So like
those are great games. Though. Yeah, hey, I gotta say this: if you guys haven't given that Hitman series a chance yet, there's multiple options on there: 4K, 60 FPS. Really good games. Really good.
But I mean, guys, with that right there, hold on. My bad.
Go ahead, Xbox. No, go.
With that right there, like talking about the Hitman series, I think you're looking at it the wrong way. Yeah, you got to look forward. Don't look at what they
could
made
make a
already.
new franchise too. But yeah,
but see, I think what they're going to do mostly, and I think this is going to be a project in the making. It's not like they're going to go and try to make a couple splashes here and there and buy big development teams or anything like that. I think they're gonna pull talent on maybe an individual basis, bring together a team themselves, and bring up that development team in house. I think that's where they're gonna go with it.
Listen, I got to give props to somebody in the chat, Delilah. You're always on fire. Delilah's she thinks the way I think. Okay, you're gonna ask the question. You're gonna throw your fishing rod out there. You're gonna catch something. What do you catch? She goes, why not buy Insomniac? And you know what? That's absolutely genius. All they ever do is go door to door. Everybody's for sale, Xbox.
No, that's not true.
Oh, yes, they are. If Minecraft's for sale,
if you
everybody's for sale. Right. Everybody's for sale.
Yes, but I will say that Insomniac has said that they don't want to be bought out. They've turned down offers from Sony before.
Agreed. They totally have, but Microsoft has about 6 extra zeros that Sony can't offer.
Hey, you know what? Like Phil did a good job getting in to sit at the right-hand man of Thanos right there, Satya Nadella.
Right.
And now he's got a lot more.
Thanos.
He's the man. Really so he's actually positioned himself so he doesn't have to answer to Terry Myerson. What a lot of people don't realize is Microsoft has a lot of offshore money. That's how they bought Minecraft. It really didn't cost them anything. It was all like all overseas money that they can't really touch anyway. So it's not really a big deal at all. They could easily go do that. Like I would like to see them buy 2 studios and open to
Imagine owning Insomniac. That's one where you go, Mooch. Are you excited?
It would be a big slap in the face for Sony. I know it'd be funny as hell. I would laugh my ass off.
The funny part, yes, I know where you're going with that, but like, forget the funny. Like that's ridiculous talent.
Oh yeah, they do good, and they have multiple teams. They're always working on multiple projects, and maybe that's something that you need to do as well. But like somebody said earlier, they could see them doing a Microsoft Studios Japan or a Microsoft Studios. Whatever.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, Sony has a Sony Studios Japan, Sony Santa Monica Studios. Sony other studios. Okay.
So they basically put camp up in Japan, have a lot of Japanese
and it's just called Microsoft Studios.
Right.
Whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's how they could do that. So they could maybe do like they had the London studio, maybe do another one in England.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I
like
can see that.
do
That's
Microsoft
it. But the
Studios
thing is,
England
though,
or-
but crap, you know the way it is, all right? Everyone's a nationalist out there. You know what I mean? So, like, are they going to be able to recruit the talent that Sony's already, like, got stronghold on? Probably
I
not.
guess. I mean, who knows? The tides are turning. You know, people are. I mean, look,
That's
didn't
true.
the X sell out in Japan at that one store? So
It did at one store,
like
yeah.
all
It was a
three,
gas station.
all three of them sold out. So I mean, I'm happy. You know, what a,
Yeah, I mean,
what a rush.
I don't know.
That's three more than they sold the day before. So
I do think,
Oh,
you know,
exactly.
let's turning over because crap's gonna hit a GIF in no time. But listen, I want to get this through.
We still got 40 minutes, but Blue
yeah, well,
was all like, "Oh, this one could go 6 hours," and I was like, "That shit ain't happening."
Yeah, no, crap won't allow that. The minute his left leg goes numb, he starts calling the.
My ass goes numb is the problem.
There you go, folks.
Boy, you better get used to it. I'd be streaming for 11 hours sometimes.
See that? Crap.
Oh,
You
yeah,
got some
I can
learning
never
Get
to do.
with it.
But she's in a
never do
massage
that.
chair.
Let me explain. Right. Let me explain this to you guys. There was nobody more excited, and I mean, this is Crossfire is not the place to come to for like pro Shannon Loftus news, but you're gonna get it tonight. She's up.
She was a negative 2 for me, and now she's like a 1. So she's moved up.
That's listen, in Crap's world, that's huge.
That's a big.
I'm saying this much. I'm very proud of her. And nobody knows because he deleted the tweet so quickly. But apparently Ryan said something, and he deleted the tweet. And but Shannon was like, "Listen, I respect your review because you never seen executives say anything generally on a review. A review's a review. It's your opinion. They let it be. We kind of harp on it. We'll talk about it, but they don't." And she goes, "I have no problem with your review or your stance on the game, but please don't." And I don't have it in front of me because I'm going to paraphrase.
She was
basically,
like,
don't tell people not to play it. Like if they want to play it, let them play it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know the exact tweet either because Ryan McCaffrey blocked me. So yeah.
No, I'm not blocked, but his tweet's gone. That's the thing. It's blocked or not. You can't read it.
She said, "Ryan, I appreciate your review. I thought you made some good points. You don't need to actively discourage people from playing the game, though."
And that's my point. But he must have written something that was just like, you know what? Don't buy this. You know what I mean? Or stay away from it. Or I don't know. I'm paraphrasing too. I don't know what he said. But I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, that's not his job. His job's to review the game and then put a number next to it. You used to tune into IGN. You go back like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 9 years ago, and they would get into a full description, maybe an oops or a this or something that they should have perfected or something that's not working in the game. And, ultimately this is the score, not like fuck this or this sucks or blah, blah. And now they're getting too opinionated on, and it's like, who is this guy? Like, who are these people? Somebody like me. Like, you don't have to listen to Mooch or that I never say, no, put that game down. You shouldn't play that. Like, no, you want to play it. A lot of my friends still play the Division. I think they're crazy. Boom. Boom's on the show. I think he's nuts. I love him dearly. He's crazy. He's playing the Division. But, I mean, my point is like, I'm not going to tell him not to play the
at least
Division.
once a week.
I do, actually.
Still actively.
Right, but I'm not media. As you can tell, right? I don't get any media badges. No, nothing but love for you, Boom. But like that's my whole thing is like, who are these people? And these are the people like Crap saying they get the Xbox One X review consoles.
Yep.
They get VIP treatment at E3. Okay, like, and they're not even getting the stuff that Blue got while she was waiting in line to see. These guys are getting escargot and champagne. Okay,
the real problem with this is like IGN, GameSpot, these are professionals, and so realistically, I think that what they're doing, what Ryan did was, if you ever watched the review, because I did, he really kind of graded that because Mario came out, right? Like Mario, you can't really compare a $30.
That's apples and oranges, man.
Yeah, you can't. Like, not everything is up to snuff with Mario, right? It shouldn't be marked down because it's not Mario. It should be reviewed for its own thing. You know what I mean? Like if I review a VR game for PlayStation VR and I give it an 8 out of 10, that doesn't really mean that a game that maybe wasn't VR that I gave a 7.5 to, that doesn't mean the VR game's better than that, really. It just means for me personally, that VR experience was an 8 out of 10, right? Like I'm not comparing games like that. Like if I review Super Lucky's Tale, I'm not going to compare it to Mario. Super Lucky's Tale might be an 8 out of 10 for me. Mario might be a 10 out of 10. It's everybody's different, but it seems like that a lot of people compared the two and just were like ready to hate on it or whatever. You know what I mean? Oh, it's just another kiddie thing or whatever. It was unfortunate, because I think it is a good game. It's something different. It's something that's very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very nostalgic game. It looks good. There's the only complaint that I would have is the camera angle sometimes, but at the end of the day, it definitely wasn't worth a 5.
Well, you know what? Now wait a minute, crap. Let me just pause it because don't get me wrong. You gave a glorious applause. You stood up. You lit a match when Ratchet and Clank came out, and I'm sorry. I own that game. I think that game's terrible. I'm sorry.
Great
it's
game,
terrible.
man. That game is phenomenal.
And it's awful. And the thing about it is the reason it's bad. It's terrible. But the same reasons that people are saying the camera angle's awful in it. You're running around. You can't sit there and give Ratchet and Clank a 9.5.
Ratchet and Clank, you could move the camera angle all around though. And Super Lucky Tail, it's weird. You can only do it
it only goes halfway.
Halfway. That's why
I feel like so maybe you can move it around in Ratchet and Clank. Like I've played it, but the problem about it though, crap, is you have to constantly move it. It's just not. It doesn't I don't know. That's I think.
Dude, that game is really good, man, and it was only a $40 game as well. So it's really hard to compare.
I didn't like it.
Well,
I would much rather play Super Lucky's Tale than Ratchet and Clank.
Personally. Well, the question I really have is, okay, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and Ryan McCaffrey, we know, is a total a-hole. I mean, the guy is an absolute tool.
Well, it's amazing how he's done a complete 180. I mean, I haven't seen a transformation like this unless it's in a video game and it's a villain.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know what it is? He has to eat his own words. I mean, he runs Xbox Unlocked, so he was eventually going to have to curve his ridiculous stance on I can't afford a 4K TV. I'm not buying an X. This is a waste of money.
Right.
My question to the panel and to anyone else that's listening is, when are these journalists going to be held accountable for what they're doing? You see, Microsoft again, he gives his review, he puts it out there, you read it, I read it, Crap reads it, Blue reads it, everyone reads it, right? Whether we agree with it or we don't, it's still his review.
Right.
To actively go on social media and discourage gamers from actually buying it,
Ryan McCaffrey and Destin Legary basically attacked, even though they felt attacked, they attacked Mike Ibarra. Now you do this, and the reason Shannon comes out is, let's be honest, when you attack Super Lucky's Tale, you're attacking her, and but it's her baby, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? Good for her that she
good for her, absolutely.
That she got out there and said something.
She stuck up for herself. Yes. Good for her to go out there and do that. When I saw that, I was like, holy shit. I put my phone down and started clapping. People thought, now crazy. What happened? What's going on?
I sent the gift too. I was like, points.
Yeah.
It's just sad that they could pretty much, say whatever they want. And you take a guy like Mike Ibarra who sends out a tweet, and then he gets literally attacked from every end, from everybody from IGN.
Right. And I mean, that's just the nonsense that occurs. And I'm just glad I wanted to bring it up to the forefront. I know it's not a huge talking discussion, but I think a lot of people should know that. So everyone in the chat that may not be following on Twitter, it is Friday starts the weekend. People aren't always paying attention to everything. Shannon actually stood up to IGN and said, listen, I completely respect your review, and I'm not even going to talk on the review. The review is the review. But after that, don't keep going on social media when you have all these people following you because you're the quote unquote media, telling people not to do what I don't know what it was.
She said, hey, listen, Shaggy, shut the fuck up over there.
Basically, right? I mean, that's basically what it was.
I do have a question. Before I forget my point. Mario obviously is amazing. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm playing it. Mooch, you're playing it.
It is very good.
It's fantastic.
Yes,
it is what it's a Mario game that we would have expected Nintendo to release. But here's my question.
Right.
Would Sonic and Lucky's Tale be getting the bad reviews if Mario wasn't released? You understand? It's like
because you're seeing what's going on Twitter. Boom. The answer would be probably no because we're in the now. But realistically, like Crap said earlier, Mario should not impact these other games. They're other games. Now, if they can't stand on their own merit, that's where they should get penalized. Not penalized because they're not another game. Well, of course they're not another. I mean, that's like you can't grade Crap because he's not Mooch, and Mooch because he's not Boom, and Boom because he's not Blue. You can't do that. Like we're all our individual people. We all have our own talents and our strengths and our weaknesses. So like you have to grade a game based upon the game itself, not compare it to something else like that. That's why a lot of people in the chat right now, they're like, Mooch, I just don't get it. You don't like the Division, but you love Destiny? It's a different game, dude. Like the shooting mechanic in Destiny is amazing. The shooting mechanic in Division is almost like you did 5 shots of vodka and spun your head around on a bat and then got back up and played again. Like you're all over the place.
Division had a hell of a first week, though.
That was a great 7 days, Crap. Absolutely.
It was. I had a lot of fun playing with Grave and Hellhammer, playing that.
Easter ceremonies for Catholics. They talk about when the Lord is risen in those 7 days also for the Division.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I had a good story, but once you got past that, it was like lame.
Correct.
I thought the dark.
Go ahead, Don.
Well, I was going to talk about I'm going to break it down in a kind of different way because, everyone's been hearing Mooch and Crap and you guys rant for a long time on the media, right? But I don't think people really look at it because they're like, opinions are opinions. Well, there's such a thing as what they call a valid opinion. What a valid opinion is, it's based on two facts or more, right?
Right.
And when you're basing your review off those facts, and you can draw that same parallel of another game not being penalized for those same facts, that's where everyone has an issue. Take Xbox, take PlayStation out of the equation. I know that's hard to do, right? But when you're basically devaluing what a game is for a gamer, and another game is just as guilty of that thing, but you don't penalize it, that's where people have a problem. And so it's opinions, but we want valid opinions. And the problem is they're not being straight across, so it's not a valid opinion, right? And so therefore they have to go overly justify their review by telling someone, hey, no, you should buy it, or no, you shouldn't, right? And that's not how this works. Like if you're confident in your review and your opinions are valid, that's your opinion, you can move on. But since you're not valid, and there is controversy within your organization or with you as an individual reviewer, that's why people have problems, and that's why people call them out. And honestly, it doesn't give you a right as a reviewer to lash back out to the consumer, your consumer, and start calling them names, right?
Right.
So that's where it kind of all comes down. Like, I've been frustrated with the media for a different reason because they represent the gaming, gaming in general, right?
Right.
And they're putting a bad face out there, and I just don't like to be associated with it.
It's at an all-time awful. And let me tell you something. I hate to promote this, but I want you guys, if you go, Mooch, I really don't see what you're seeing. Go watch Giant Bomb. I believe it was yesterday they posted. So it's yesterday. You have to go to their channel. They did a Xbox One X and they playthrough on a bunch of different games. I swear to God, I've never seen anything more revolting, disgusting.
I'll one up you. Go watch the Game Informer one. That was horrible.
I'm gonna watch that one later because I've been told that was really bad. But Crap, have you seen?
No, I haven't watched the Giant Bomb one, but Crap. I did. Yeah.
Don't watch it on a full stomach.
It's bad. It was actually worse than their actual review of the system, where they mentioned it's heavy 70 times.
No. That was the unboxing.
Yeah,
this was them playing it yesterday, and when they were playing it, they were sitting there, and the one guy was saying something, and actually Jeff Gertzman, even though it wasn't a compliment, but Jeff Gertzman was correcting a guy. He goes, this game's performing the exact same way on the PS4 Pro. It was talking about Call of Duty. And Gertzman's like, no, actually, no. He's like, actually, it's better on this one. He's like, oh, okay, sorry about that. I don't know. Like everything, every 2 seconds was, the PlayStation's doing the same thing, and it was a bash on the UI, how glitchy the system is, how awful the UI is better, but still terrible.
UI on the X actually runs. I feel like it runs the way it's supposed to now.
Yeah, it runs super fast. I haven't had any glitches or being kicked out.
And it goes a step further here with the media, guys. Okay, here's the thing: we got to get down to it. Andrea Renee and Crap. I know you have the tweet out somewhere, and you were looking at it the other day, and you commented on it. And you may have even done a video. Andrea Renee and this other guy we don't know, but he's in the gaming media. He's in the media of some sort, made a comment about why Microsoft didn't put a bigger hard drive into the Xbox One X, and they started complaining. Well, Albert Pinello caught wind of it, and Albert Pinello got on and called them out. And it was like, no, we couldn't do that because of this, and this. And it was basically because if they went with a larger hard drive, it would have slowed things down, blah, blah, blah. He got into the whole technical thing. And here's my point. There's a lot of people tuning to see Andrea Renee. There's a lot of people tuning to see Greg Miller because Andrea Renee is now on the Game Over Greggy show or on Kind of Funny. She assists them and does things on their channel. and she's the gaming media. And why wouldn't you do a little research to find out, or why would you make these blanket statements? You don't understand. It's like Twitter is your own, but when Twitter is your own and it's going out to all the executives and all the executives follow you, that's crazy that you would make that. And then you get called out by Albert Pinello, and then she didn't even comment back oops or sorry. Nothing. She just disappeared from the conversation once Albert corrected her.
I'm out. See you.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Poof. Gone. She became the next David Blaine. She was just gone. And I was like, wow. She didn't even stick around for an I'm sorry. So, crap, what was it she was saying, basically? Do you have it?
Basically what it was is they were pissed off about there only being a 1 terabyte hard drive in there. And it was her and some other guy from some maybe media site or something. And Albert Pinello came out and was and really kind of corrected them and was like, well, the reason why we do it that way is based on performance. Hellhammer really did a good explanation of it. I'm not as technical as he is, but
he did.
Albert Pinello basically kind of put him in their place saying, you know what, it all comes down to the performance and what we're able to do and things like that. And it really had nothing to do with the cost or anything. So and it he was like, and then the guy came back and was like, oh, well, sorry, I didn't mean to complain. I love it. It's great. So,
True.
Yeah. So, and Andrew Renee didn't say shit after that, but yeah.
Well, you know what it is? This needs to happen more often than not. If Microsoft executives, like what happened with Ryan McCaffrey, they'll be less likely to do these blanket statements. At least that
exactly. Boom. And we said this a few months ago. I can't remember. Somebody came out and lashed out and kind of corrected somebody and put them in their place a few months ago. I can't remember if it was Aaron or it was Mike. But anyway, Phil, when Phil said no, remember his response was
no.
No.
Two letters.
2 letters, just no. And it just quieted everything down. And that's why I put that in the title today, that Xbox executives are firing back. They know they have a substantial console here. They know they have the better console out there right now. They know that they can kind of put their chest out there and be like, this is the way it's going to be. This is what it is. And if you're going to talk shit about it, we're going to correct you and we're going to put you in your place. And Boom's right. That needs to happen more often than not, because what it does is it stops the media in their tracks. Because when somebody in the media makes a ridiculous comment, or even if it's, like I say, a comment, an opinion, well, other people will run with it if it's not kiboshed or stopped.
Yep, absolutely.
And they have to stop it in their tracks immediately. Okay, like with Shannon today. Great, we value your opinion. Thank you. Stop it. Shut up. Okay? Now you're just annoying me. And to be honest with you, you're getting to the point where I'm like, why do I need to treat you like VIP anymore? Now it's a personal attack. And I don't know why these people are all doing it. The Sony gravy train is still chugging along very well, but the X is picking up momentum. It's done very well. Takes me to my next topic. Crap did a video on it. I think we had something along the lines of GameStop reported in 24 hours they basically sold out of all Xbox One X.
Yeah,
and that's a big deal.
That is a big deal because they're the biggest,
very
and we
close
know
to selling out.
Yeah, and we know that Amazon had sold out at a point, and a lot of the other places for the original waves and stuff like that sold out. So, and people didn't realize that there's over 7,100 GameStop stores. And you could really just I remember I did a video on it and I did the math with a calculator, and it was you could have easily got over 300,000 just at GameStop alone.
Is that the
just
US?
If each one had between 40 and 50,
Right.
Is that just the US?
No, that's worldwide.
Worldwide, okay.
Yeah. So, they call them EB Games in Canada and something else in the UK or whatever. So, right. So it was easy to say, I predicted that they would probably do 1 million this month or more than that. And that seems like they could be on. Well, I doubt they'll come out and say that they did 1 million, but I think that it's clear that a lot of people were waiting for the X to come out. Everybody was like, nobody's even buying the S. And I think people are smarter than they give credit for nowadays. This isn't, the 90s where people were too stupid to upgrade their stuff or whatever. Everybody has phones and, and upgrades their car. Everything is an upgrade, and
people lease cars at a rapid rate nowadays because every 3 years people are like, I want a new car.
Yeah.
So they lease.
Exactly.
And then if except for tires and oil changes, everything else is covered. It's no nonsense. And every 3 years, Don, you got to like this as a dev. This is like money in the bank for you to know that every 3-4 years people are going to buy new hardware, because when they buy new hardware, guess what they're going to do? They want to play the enhanced game that you made 3 years ago, and they can't wait to see what you're going to come out in 2 years from now. It's It keeps the business alive. Doing a 9-year lifespan on hardware is stupid. They didn't know that back then. They thought that was great because they were milking it for all that it was. But now they're like, wait a minute, for very little more, the technology is growing faster than the consoles are going to be put out. So Microsoft's still going to get cheaper parts in 3 years for this next generation console. When do we think next generation's coming? Don, what do you think? What's the word on the street? You go to work every day. People are talking about it.
What's the word on the street, Don?
I don't think there is going to be a next generation, at least from Microsoft's standpoint, and I think that's to their benefit. PlayStation's, I think it's up in the air. They have some issues with Huma kind of holding their system back, and that really is going to prevent them from doing some of the other APIs that allow you to do multi-core. So PlayStation, we may see a next generation and then a hard reset, and then on Xbox, I don't think it's going to be needed. And every developer I know does not want a hard reset. Does not want one at all.
The thing is, I know Xbox, Phil Spencer has come out and said they're already working on their successor to the Xbox One X. I think when it comes down to it, the name could be the very last thing that you put on there. Now, I think what Pinello did there is that, through everything that the, people at Xbox have done, everything that Phil Spencer has done to do a 180 on the whole negative stigma from the launch of this generation and everything. If for some rhyme or reason the name Xbox One doesn't get kind of like that dirt kind of shaken off from it, Pinello just left the door open to make the successor change the name to something else. But inherently, I don't think it's gonna go away from their plans of that compatibility type thing that they've been talking about.
Well, let me put this in another perspective. You at least have to double the power what's in the X to get a tangible, noticeable difference, right? So every time consoles get more powerful, right, you have to do bigger jumps for you to be able to make it tangible for the consumer, right? Mm-hmm. And so to make a difference that a consumer could, like what we're getting with the X right now, right, where you walk into the store and if it's on the right display or not, right, you're seeing that difference. The next level, you're gonna have to double everything. You have to double the RAM, CPU, and GPU to really just get to take advantage of what the next hardware is going to be. If you do like an intermediate step between it here and there, it's not going to be noticeable.
Well, I think where we are with AMD at Xbox and what Xbox has done with the One X, making a physical DirectX 12 kind of like ARM inside the sock. That was absolute genius right there. Nobody called that, right? You look at AMD with what's going on with their GPU architecture. We have Navi right around the corner. The One X isn't even using a Ryzen CPU. So I feel like there's the parts when you go from both the Xbox division and the company that makes the chips with AMD, there's parts that can be put together to really make the Xbox One X successor and to make it a leap above.
Well, Don, when you say there's not going to be a successor, I mean, there's going to be a successor. If you don't want to use,
they're committed to it.
Right. I mean, you're saying it's not going to be a generation. It's not going to be a stopgap, right? It's not going to be like, your Xbox 2 won't be compatible. Everything with Microsoft, I believe, moving forward, Phil said it years ago, is everything's going to be seamless and they're all going to be working together. So right now, your OG games, your 360 games, your Xbox One games, and soon your Xbox 2 games will all play on that same console. And that's fine. That's what he's envisioned. And I think that's great. Yeah. But at the same time, it's 2020 it's got to be the day. Really, I hate to say it, that's the year. In November 2020, I think is when PlayStation is going to launch. And I don't think Microsoft really should wait much more beyond that. And again, I'll quote Hellhammer. Hellhammer said it many Xbox Nations ago. He's like, Microsoft, yes, even if the box can handle it, the one thing that this box won't be able to handle if we get to 2020 is the CPU that PlayStation will put in there. They'll make sure that every game is running at 4K 60, and that may or may not be the case with what's current with the X. And Microsoft really can't go a full year and have all these big games come out and be so behind the times. You lose a lot of people. So Microsoft has to know that.
To be honest with you.
Say again?
I don't think a year is going to hurt them. I mean, to put a dent in it, but
let's hope it's only a year.
Yeah, well, if you know something's coming out, kind of like if you look at like the Pro history, right? The Pro and the X, right? before we even knew the Pro was coming out, like officially from Sony, we all knew, but from Sony's announcement, we knew about the X, right? So it deflated anything that Sony released at that time. Regardless of the success of the machine, it deflated the hype for what that product was. So if you have another year after release, it's all about preparing your customers for what you're there to deliver and make sure you have the message correct for that customer. And if you hit those notes, it can be a year later. It really doesn't. It's not going to hurt them in the long run.
In fact, it's going to play it better, like the X did to the Pro, because basically what happened was the Pro is not a big upgrade. Nobody was waiting in lines for a Pro.
No.
You know what I mean? There was no run on a Pro. Nobody cared about
Nobody
a Pro.
even clapped when it was presented.
Yeah. You know why they didn't? Because Sony didn't care about the Pro.
No,
Microsoft actually cares about the Xbox One X. And so I think even if Sony did get a year jump on them, which I don't really think they will, I think that Microsoft would be fine.
I do think so. I also think, Don, myself personally, I think that the X has something in it that we don't even know yet. And I know Digital Foundry and people are like, oh, here we go again. I think that you see Albert Pinello smiling when he talks about power. He's like, there's power in there. He's so excited. I'm like, I've never seen somebody smile like this. Why is he? Because I think that this console can handle 4K 60, but they're holding it back because of, not because of PlayStation, because of the Xbox One family. Right now.
No. I don't think
that's Mooch. I don't think it's holding anything back. I have to agree with Don when it comes to the whole 1 year thing. I think Phil Spencer at Xbox, they put themselves in a great position. Now think about what Sony does for launch titles for their new hardware. All right. You telling me that Xbox can't afford to wait a year and then come out with their new hardware?
They can, Xbox, but here's what I want to tell Don. If I talk to Don before this E3 and I go, hey, Don, they told us they're going to give us 8 gig of RAM. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, they're going to give us 9. He'd be like, Mooch, no. Sorry, dude. You're wrong. They would have told us. They gave us 9. What I'm saying to you is that there's things in there that Don would have not agreed with before it was prior common knowledge. And I'm saying there's other things they can pull out of this to give. Nothing crazy. Not secret sauce. It's right there. It's just mathematics. It's there. And they know that, but that's why they're sitting there like, this thing has so much power, this thing has so much this and that. Like, if other games can do 4K 60, they're just not doing it across the board.
Like, look, here's the thing. Like what Albert Pinello said in that interview. He's like, even if they say, here's this console, you know what I mean? You can't force 60. So you could get 4K, but if developers want to put it at 30 to crank up their graphics, they're still going to do that.
Right. That's
you know
fine.
what I mean? And the CPU, like, people are like, CPU bottleneck. They like hear that and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
I trust the developers and I trust Albert, and Microsoft.
Digital Foundry said this week, crap, what you just said. They're like, we thought that the Jaguar, I like how they say the Jaguar couldn't do this, but they're like, apparently the Jaguar is stronger than we thought. So, like, what I'm saying is you don't really know what they know. Everything in that box is custom. So if they're going to tweak it, I'm not saying magically make it. No, it is what it is. The chips is what it is what they told you it was. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, like I said, and Don, that's a good example. You have to give me a little bit of credit there. If I asked you last May, okay, hey, you think there's any way we can get 9 or 10 gig out of this thing? You'd be like, Moach, calm yourself. Calm down.
You're going to get 8 if you're lucky.
You're getting 8 if you're lucky. And then all of a sudden he says 9. You're like, oh, well, I didn't know that could do it.
Well, that's something the developer's always going to ask for. They're always going to ask for more RAM, right?
Right.
Here's the thing. If you look at what the current RAM that we have on there, that's the max amount of RAM you can put on a board. You're done. Unless you go to HBM, which is substantially more expensive. So which is the next level of RAM. And so you're not going to be able to do a small bit of HBM that's not more than what the Xbox is. That's why I say, like, it's a little further out than because from a price point, it just is. Breaking $600, man, that's still rough for a console gamer to do.
I think $500 would probably be the limit. There'd be a lynch mob if they asked for 6.
Yeah, so I mean, the problem is everything that Sony can do, they can obviously in 2 years make a console more powerful than the X. There's no doubt, right? But you have to be able to make it tangible for your consumer. If it's not tangible for your consumer,
absolutely,
what's the point? And here's the other thing, like, people talk about secret sauce. I'll tell you exactly what the X can do and what we'll see down the road. If you look at, like, for example, FreeSync technology, so what that allows, basically the console drives the refresh rate of your television, right? So if you actually have a FreeSync television, developers can choose, instead of locking it at 60, maybe we'll lock it at 40, maybe we'll lock it at 50, and that'll be enough for the majority of the public to see a difference, right? They can do stuff like that. There's also things like basically it's fake 60 frames per second. What it is frame rate interpolation.
Yeah.
And I know the engine I'm working in right now is working on that to be running on the X, right? And it's one of the biggest engines out there. So there's technologies down the road, and that's the reason why I always don't push the whole 60 things, because there's other things down the road that I think consumers are going to be happy with. That also makes it harder for you to outclass what Microsoft is doing, right? 2 years down the road. So I know what my games are going to look like 4 years down the road right now, right? Like, I have an idea what games are going to look like, but the engines are not even written in a way to scale that high yet.
Right.
So it's interesting. It's exciting what we're going to see down the road. But I think, Microsoft, did the checkmate move here and honestly locked down where you will see the difference for a long period of time. And it's going to be hard to see the difference above an X for quite a while. You can make the numbers bigger.
Well said, Don.
You can make the numbers bigger all you want, right? But it's making it tangible for a consumer when they walk down the aisle and they can see it. And because Digital Foundry's only got 12,000 viewers, right?
Right.
That's nothing comparison to having a kiosk and having it in the store and people walking by and talking about it. So that's kind of my perspective. I mean, stuff's coming down the road. I hope Sony doesn't do a whole next gen. I don't know any developer that actually wants that. They just want new hardware.
Well, here's the problem, and tell us this, but Don, they can't even do back compat. So, I mean, we don't know. Sony has not. Phil has been very clear of his future. Phil's future was what you own, you play now, and what you'll buy later, you'll be able to play what you're also playing now. So we know that we're going to be back and forward compatible with Phil Spencer and his plan. That's fine. What we don't know what Sony's doing.
Well, Sony's always done like a hardware solution for back compat. And this is not what's happening with Microsoft. Microsoft's pulling what they know from PC. They've been doing longer than anybody else. Right. And they're just gonna continue to roll with it. At least that's my thought process. But we'll see what time will tell. So
yeah. Now, are you guys noticing anything in Blue? I don't know if you've been watching a lot of the reviews that are out there, but now that the X is out, we've seen a lot of comparisons. And one of the comparisons that I keep noticing is IGN's, and they're showing Xbox S, then they're showing the PS4, and then they're showing the PS4 Pro versus the Xbox One X, and then they're showing it against PC. And my biggest problem that I have with this is how these are like, and they say it's max settings on a PC. A max setting on a PC can range anywhere from, I don't know, I'm going to say $1,700 to $5,000. Who knows? Depends on the gamer you are, or how into it you are in the PC world, the PC space. Is it? And people are like, Mooch, it's a compliment. It's a compliment to put the X up against the PC. Well, yeah, it is. I know where you're going with that, but we know people say imitation is the best form of flattery. But that's bullshit, because people who get imitated usually get pissed and sue you. So like, right? So like,
I do think that it's important to remember that PCs, like you said, range from affordable amount, and then it's just like a ridiculous amount. And so, I mean, yes, if it's comparing to PC and it's looking great, that's pretty amazing for us to brag about. But at the same time, the idea of a console is that you're getting what you're getting for a specific price point.
Right.
And
so should these be neck and neck, like shown next to each other? The X is holding itself, but
it needs to be transparent about what's being used, like what's the hardware, because if you compare it to PS4, I mean, we know what the PlayStation has to offer. Like we don't know what PC they're using, and I think that it will be helpful if they would list the specs and let us know what PC you're using, so that we know what it is that we're getting, because if not, it's not apples
Right.
to apples.
So when you're showing the X next to the PC, you know what I'd like to know? I'd like to know the specs, which are easy. Show us the specs, the two lines,
easy.
GPU, CPU, and show us the cost of that box.
Exactly.
Show us the cost of that PC. So that way, when I'm watching Assassin's Creed and they're going, Digital Foundry's going from PS4, or IGN's going from PS4 Pro to Xbox, and Xbox is always beating PS4 Pro, right? This is my ploy is this. Here's what I'm saying. First, and I'm going to get back to what Blue said, because what Blue said is genius. That's what they should do. Number two, though, this is another mainstream media, gaming media attack on the X. And you're probably going, how, Mooch? How is this an attack? They couldn't just do Pro versus X, could they?
No.
Why?
Well,
why can't they do it? But it's consoles, right?
Right. Well, here's the thing, Mooch, and this is what I want to bring to the forefront about the double standard that we've been complaining about for what seems like the entire year. When the PlayStation 4 Pro came out, what was it compared to? The Xbox. Was it compared to PC?
Never.
Did they bring a $1,700 PC next to it and say, okay,
no.
Pro, PC, let's see who wins?
Right.
Okay, so now the Xbox One X comes out. I understand that it's been said by many people, including people in Microsoft, it's as powerful as a high-end PC, but it's still a gaming console.
Right.
All right. It should be being compared just the same amount to the PlayStation 4 Pro.
It should be X versus Pro.
That's it. Nothing else to the table. They should not bring anything else. What's the X's competitor? Is it the PC? No, it's the Pro.
Right. If you want to compare PCs, then do a side by side of a $1,000, $2,000, and a $3,000 PC next to each other, and let me watch. Because then I would be like, oh, look, maybe I do want to spend $2,000 on a PC. That's what I'm in that range. That's the image I'm looking for as a consumer. Why are you showing me a max settings? Like I said, it depends. I know people that play on PC. I know someone that built what they consider a very good, very capable PC for $1,700, and I know somebody that has. Yeah, and how much is yours, Blue?
Mine was about $1,000.
Okay.
So pretty. I can play a lot of games in max settings.
There you go. In max settings, you can play them at $1,000. But I mean, $1,000 is still like we just heard Boom and a bunch of people say that if God forbid the Xbox 2 was $600, like it would be like havoc in the streets. People would be flipping cars and like lighting people on fire, right? Like so, shit would go crazy. Like it'd be the end of the world. So now, like $1,000 PC can do max settings, and now an Xbox can do max settings, and it's like an X can do it. Like what I'm saying is this: I'm watching all this. I've been like drooling and waiting to watch all these comparisons, but I want to watch the X versus the Pro.
And they won't show that.
No, they won't, because
they're
like, oh, here's the Pro real quick. Oh, don't worry about the Pro. If you want to buy it, buy it. It's $100 less. Don't worry about it. And then they're like, but here's the X, and the X really is having a hard time showing the shadow alias against this $3,500 PC. And I'm like,
What's hilarious though is that it's not even that. Like the funny thing is that it's actually comparable. Like it doesn't look that much different than, and for some games it looks the same, like to be honest. And that's pretty impressive. It's a console, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what the guy's talking about in the chat. We never said the X is better than PCs. That's never been said. But
no one's ever said that.
Oh, you did? Well, Crap said it. I didn't.
It's better. Hold on. It's better than most PCs.
Well, you have to understand most PC gamers are not not everyone has $3,500 rigs.
Yeah, exactly. If you just go by judging by their own godly service, Steam, less than 1% are gaming in 4K.
That's right. So, those are Steam numbers, folks.
Yes, those are Steam's own numbers. So the majority of people don't have it. That's why they're so pissy. Because the majority of them
I have a $2,000 Alienware laptop. I don't play any games on it. I just don't. I can.
My PC was about $1,000,
but I don't.
Blue, you just made her cry. Like her heart just cried. Yeah.
Use your hardware, people. Use it.
Well, see, my whole thing
I just
is
can't stand it.
My whole thing is, and I saw like PC World try to build a PC that was the equivalent,
and they failed
to the One X. They spent damn near $700. They didn't even put a UHD. They didn't put a UHD Blu-ray in there either. No. There was a bunch of stuff that they didn't do.
I don't even think they had the Microsoft OS in there either. No, it didn't have a
software. Nope.
No. And now, see, the thing is, when you put everything together, of course, you're talking about hardware, you're talking about tech performance and stuff like that. But I'm also looking at price point. There is nothing on the market that can do what the Xbox One X does for gamers at a $500 price point.
Exactly.
It's not out there. It's not out there.
Did you see Albert Pinello's quote on it? They're talking about like all these PC builds trying to outperform the X, and he basically said they're laughing at you. You can't do it. You just heard that you can't do this, right? And this is coming from somebody at Microsoft, right? They know what the hardware is in the box. They know what they make their OS compatible for. They know all this stuff, right? Like they get it. And what you get in that package for $500, you can't beat it. And honestly, when PC hardware gets cheaper, guess what's going to happen? The X is going to get cheaper. The console game has always been gaming for the masses, right? For people that don't want to learn any of the other stuff. They just want to plug in a box and play. And there's a huge segment of the market, and you're just not going to get that from PC. And I'm a big PC guy. I do actually play anywhere. I know Crap's probably rolling his eyes right now. And but the reality is, if you want to draw a parallel, right? Like in what I consider like a high-end PC. High-end PC is
Play Anywhere is a flop, by the way.
Well, it's why we have X support, so I'm not going to complain about it.
I know. I'm just saying overall, like even per Shannon Loftus, I actually had this as a topic for Xbox Nation. There's no overlapping there, meaning people that are buying the games on PC aren't playing on Xbox, and the people buying on Xbox aren't playing on PC. So
yes,
it basically means nobody cares.
But it's also making it so there's more supported software between both platforms.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying overall, it's not doing what.
Well, the supported software is good as far as where we're going in the future, right? Down with the whole X. But I do agree with Crap. I mean, this whole thing that they had, this marriage that Microsoft like painted for us 3 years ago, where Xbox and PC are going to marry and they're going to all be happy, and it's not working. It's not working. There's a clear segregation between console and PC.
But there's also a clear difference on X support compared to their competitors, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So like, and then this is how Phil works, right? We were talking about this before the show. Phil plays nicely with other departments, and in doing so, he has an agenda. He won't admit to any of us, right? But he has an agenda, and the agenda was to help the X and also help the PC platform. And there's not direct correlated from like the Windows Store that it's helping both platforms, but from the actual support and the quality of the project we're getting on both platforms have gotten better on both sides. But if you're going to draw a parallel on PC, the console, you have to always draw the parallel to the most demanding game on the console that's going to get the exact same results on the PC side of things, because that way you cover the umbrella of everything else underneath that's not as demanding on the PC side. So, right now that's a GTX 1080 with an i7. People have pulled it with an i5 and a 1070, but the reality is that's it's not as consistent as what Forza is running on the X. So to get that same consistency, you have to have overhead, and there's probably a lot more overhead than you need on a PC to do that. But that's to get that same experience. That's what you're going to need. And if you want that experience, that's what you're going to have to pay. You have to buy those two key components, and the graphic card alone is more than an Xbox One X. Simple as that.
No, I totally agree. I just want to end on one segment. We are going to be, I believe they said to give us a week, and the week will be Tuesday, guys. But, they said they were going to give us 70 X enhanced games. I don't know where they're at, but I
got 40 of them so far.
Okay, you're at 40. You own everything, so that's actually a very good. Boom does own everything, people. So that's not even me being funny. People are like, there's Mooch being Mooch again. No, not really.
He's right. Me and Crap are on the same page. Yes. We buy everything.
Yeah. I think I have like 45 or 46.
Okay, so they are on pace, right? They said 70 in the first week, so
we're waiting on Division. Let's go.
That's not happening. Just like your DLC. Not happening. So that being said, let me go through my outros. We're at our 2-hour mark. Great show tonight, guys. I mean, listen, you got a lot of everything. You got a little bit of excitement from the X. You heard the pros and cons. You heard a lot from Don. You really can learn a lot from Don.
Hit the like button, man. You have like 600 watching, like 260 likes, man. They're so stingy. They're like, we love Mooch, but we just don't like his videos.
We don't want to hit that like button. So hit that like button, folks. It really does. Don't be the George Jetson of 2017. Let me say, I always go in the reverse order. I want to start with the lovely Blue. Blue, outstanding to have you on tonight. Thank you for sharing your experiences on launch night, and we really hope that you come back on. Where can people find you?
So I am on Twitch. I'm a streamer. If you are interested in watching someone yell at their computer screen, just come by. I'm just kidding. I play games on PC and on Xbox. I'm also on Twitter, so you can find me. Everything's the same, X Blue Rendezvous. And thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be
Blue,
here.
it
She's got to play more Halo 5. She got to stream more
Here
Halo
we go.
5.
Yeah, there you go. Right? No, Blue had me on Speak, and it was so fun because like when I was like, well, what's going on with Speak? She's like, well, here's what you need to know. It's not like what you're used to. And I'm like, okay, good.
I know. Speak Podcast is my podcast. If you go and you check it out, you're gonna be like, what the hell? Someone actually commented, what the heck is this? And I was like, okay. But it's just different. We talk about life and
It's a life podcast, and it's very good.
It's awesome. Shout out to Luca too, who does it with you.
I was a guest. I was definitely a guest. I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
We're going down the list.
We'll get Techie Don on there eventually, but I think we were all on there. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
No.
Don will be great to open up. Get Don to open up that.
Blue, you got to get that because you'll never have a show like the Don on Speak Podcast. I guarantee it.
like the Don. The Don. No, speaking of the Don, thanks for being on tonight, bro. Honestly, always good to have you on because, there's a lot of things that we talk about throughout the week. We read about, we discuss on other podcasts and on this one. And it is really, really great to get an insight. It's like somebody who actually does it day in and day out for a living and get your 2 cents on it. So thank you so much, bro, for being here. And where can people find you this week?
Oh, man, thanks for coming around on the frames per second thing. I think you guys
absolutely.
I was on a lonely island for a little bit, just me and Xbot, and people are starting to understand.
No, I'm coming ashore, bro. I'm coming ashore.
Yeah, but no, most of the time I just do guest appearances here. I feel like the best way to give my platform is in a conversation with others, right? I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. And developers are afraid to stick their neck out. And so I just stick my neck out with the people I trust. That's everyone here on this panel. And then where I got my start, which is next podcast, which is tomorrow on Xbot 448's channel. And if you want to follow me, my Twitter handle is the Don _KTR.
Very cool. Very cool. Don, always appreciate it. And
very professional.
I don't know if we're going to call him Boombastic Boom or the defense lawyer for the division. Boom, always good to have you on, buddy.
Him and Bam are co-counsel.
Him and Bam are like the Johnny Cochran and Kardashian lawyers for division. Buddy, good to have you guys here. Boom, really glad you're here. You do chime in a lot more now. Your show is picking up. Your channel's huge. Love what you're doing, buddy. I'm so proud of you for growing and becoming your own thing.
Thanks, dude. I really appreciate it.
Let people know where they can find you, bro.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Boomstick XL. If you sign up for alerts, your phone's gonna explode because I tweet all day long.
He does. He really does.
I think I just passed 16,000 tweets. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Boom's not shy, folks.
But you can also find me on Coffee, Casuals, and Consoles Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. It's a fantastic show. We're really picking up ground and some viewership, which is great. And last week, I launched my own channel, Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick XL. You can find it on YouTube.
Very cool, Boom. Very cool, Boom. Thank you so much. Xbot 448, you got a big show tomorrow. And I just want to reiterate again, very, very, very relieved that everything is going well and that you're back on the show because the show isn't the same without you, bro. So thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. This is like my I'll give it my second home, even though because I do so many podcasts and stuff throughout the day. I have a second, third, fourth, fifth home or whatnot. and yeah, my doctor thinks I am a freak of nature for some reason because I had both tonsils taken out. I've had just crazy stuff, surgery on my neck and stuff. And I'm talking the entire way through. I'm like, where's my ice cream? Give me my pudding. Where's my Jello? And so she thinks I'm a freak of nature, but
let's be honest, it was a head transplant.
But yeah, I do have to say, huge shout out to the community. Of course, my YouTube family out here, Crap, Mooch, of course, Zaire. I could go down the list. My boy Chris, BGST, Next Podcast. You guys, the support I've gotten from you guys and the community has been absolutely incredible. Felt good coming back. And I just can't wait to do it again. Of course, tomorrow is the next podcast. We're going to be going in on a lot of Xbox One X related stuff. The Don that is his second home, and we're gonna have K Mega there, Predator, and
El Mega.
El Mega, El Diva, as I like to call him. But yeah, it's a cool show. Gaming news, gameplay, all that good stuff, and Yeah, it was a blast, man. I can't wait till next Friday.
Very cool, Xbot. Thank you so much. And the man, the myth himself, the infamous Crap Gamer. Crap.
Hey, what's going on
tonight, bro? It was really good show. Had a good time. Speed. We got a big announcement for Sunday. I'll let you do it.
So basically, what happened was Mooch isn't going to be around this weekend, and we wanted to do the Xbox One X Scorpio Edition thing live, with all three of us, and it never matched up to where me and him and Jay were all around together. So the only time we can do that, we're not even doing MNC mornings in the morning. We're doing it that evening at 7. And that's going to be from 7 to 8, and we're doing we're going to announce the winner there, and we're also doing other prizes and stuff like that as well. So that was the only way that we could get all three of us together and fit things in, because Mooch is busy. He's going to be doing something.
Yeah, doing a little traveling this weekend, visit some family. Yeah. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm getting back at some point on Sunday, and I'm like, I want to make it a big event, right? The Xbox One X. Yeah. It's a Scorpio edition.
By the way, we're giving away also a year of Game Pass as well, and probably a couple other prizes and stuff.
I'll take the year Game Pass. Just send it right over here.
Leave a voicemail, man.
Put a voicemail. We're gonna go through voice. We're gonna have a show. We're still gonna have a show. Do everything. Have calls. So it's just gonna be another MNC evenings this week, and then we'll get back to our regular schedule. I'm gonna warn you guys.
I have like 3 different personalities that I have been working on to call in for MNC. I just don't know which one of the 3.
That reminds me of something funny, right? Somebody messaged me on the Crappy Reviews Facebook page, and they go, "Do you know where I could get a free Xbox One?" No, this isn't Mooch, by the way. I thought that was funny.
Like it's not him. No, great show tonight, guys. Everybody, I'll let everybody enjoy their Friday night. If you're contemplating getting an X, you can hear it from everybody. Don't just go by this panel. Go by other podcasts.
Amazing. It's the best console of all time.
It is. It's the best console that's been out. It is the best console that's been out this generation. It is the most powerful one. Everyone's enjoying it. Check it out, guys. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you on MNC evenings. Good night.